Wolf Pack, what is going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of RotoStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves here with your Week 11 Sunday sit start show. Best day of the week is here, and we only have 4 more games left until the fantasy playoffs. Wins are at an absolute premium, whether you're trying to climb to the bye, whether you're just fighting to get in. Maybe you just want to avoid last place. Either way, you know it. We say it every week, but especially as we get down to this crunch time, the wins become even more and more important. So let's dive on into the news you need to know and then spend the rest of the morning, 8 a.m. to about 10 a.m. So we've got to sign off here to just get all those sit-start lineups ready. I know we don't have any early game, but we want to test it out. The last few sit-start shows have gone very, very well at this 8 a.m. start time. It seems to work better for other people's schedules, including mine. It gives us time to get our own lineups ready and check everything. So thank you so much as you're getting in here. Those early thumbs up really do help us out. So if you're here with us live, you're part of the first 10 to 15 early birds that are getting in here, kind of getting yourselves ready. Please do consider hitting that thumbs up, like, shares, retweets, bring on some more people. We'd love to have you. I typically try not to spend too much time on the Thursday night recap, just because, again, I know your questions are what matters most. We have a bunch of them already in the mailbag. Awesome. Just checking everybody, the regular legends. Great to see you. But I did want to just quickly touch upon the fact that we lost 2 absolute studs this Thursday night. We finally got a good Thursday night game on paper. And how do the fantasy gods treat us? They chop us down when we're happiest and ready to just enjoy a good game for once on a Thursday night. Both Joe Burrow and Mark Andrews done for the season. Obviously, devastating injuries. I have Mark Andrews in 2 of my 5 most important leagues here. I have 5 leagues, and it's 2 of the top 2 I have. He's gone. It sucks. And now I'm scrambling for replacement plans, trying to figure it out. So if you're there with me, here's a few things that I've considered. It's a cracked fibula, ankle ligament. It was believed to be a season ender, and now Rap should say it's still believed to be long-term. I don't know if he's done for the year. I'll probably linger just a little bit in the IR spot here if you have it available, just in case he's back for your fantasy playoffs or something crazy. You don't want to drop Mark Andrews and see an opponent just pick him up. But ultimately, as soon as we get that news, obviously it's going to be that heartbreaking, the Titanic, I don't want to let you go, Jack, whatever it is. And Mark Andrews floats off into the distance. Very, very sad. But who could you replace him with? So I picked up Pat Freiermuth. He's still out there in over half of leagues. Obviously, you don't have to start him this week because you had Mark Andrews in, and that's good because he's facing Cleveland. They have been the worst matchup by a mile for tight ends. This is the last time they get them. And now Pat Freiermuth, he's going to have Cincinnati twice on the schedule. That is 2 really, really cakewalk games, top 2 in terms of points allowed to tight ends. The rest of the schedule looks okay. So that's where I'd look, especially today and Sunday. If he's still out there, drop a bench piece. I dropped Leonard Fournette, for example. I've been stashing him for a while. I know I've been preaching to you guys to stash Lenny Fournette for a while. But at this point, it might not get activated until the fantasy playoffs. Maybe you can sneak him back on the roster as it's getting closer and closer. But obviously, desperate times call for desperate measures. Other guys I'd look at, you probably can't pick up Isaiah Likely right now. He should be the 1-to-1 spitch. But the worry I have there, and the reason I'm not going to recommend him as a blow all the fab, waiver wire budget type of guy next week, is he's had 0 production in both chances without Mark Andrews in the lineup. Week 1, everybody thought, and we could look at all the numbers from last year, right, where he was like a bona fide top 5 tight end every time Andrews missed anytime. But that was not the case this last game. He had 0 production with Andrews out. In week 1 with Andrews out, did nothing. This is not the Greg Roman tight end, no matter what type of scheme. And for all Roman's faults, a big reason why likely when Andrews was out, were productive was because they love to pepper in Greg Roman's scheme. It dates back to Vernon Davis, the 49ers. You look at any of his offenses, they're always horrendous for the pass, but then ultimately it actually funnels to the tight end and they become productive despite how little volume there is. It typically goes to the tight end. So that might be one of the negatives here. I actually think, instead of Isaiah Likely, I'm going to be recommending Odell Beckham as one of the top waiver wire pickups of next week. 100 yards, touchdown. A lot of the scouts I trust, and my own eyeballs too. He looks back. It looks like, obviously not vintage Giants Odell, but he's got the burst. He's making the plays. He's fired up. His teammates love him. Like, Odell's back, and they're going to need some playmaking now out wide. I think Zay Flowers will obviously see a nice boost up there, but he's not on waiver wires here. So I think ultimately back to tight ends, Tyler Conklin, top 5 rest of season schedule, 6 catches, 66 yards, 7 catches, 70 yards across his last 2 games, caught all 13 targets, clear number 2 in that passing game. behind, obviously, Garrett Wilson with a great schedule down the stretch. And just he's kind of the high floor ad here in addition to Pat Fry. And then I really do like Donald Parham. I'm intrigued to see what he does today with Gerald Everett out. All we need is a full-time role for him. Maybe in his absence today. Great streamer for this week if you're just desperate anyways. But ultimately, what if he carves out this role? XFL legend too. I can always support an XFL legend. So that's the way I'm playing tight end as potential replacement plans. Again, Freiermuth as a stash. Conklin, great, nice high floor option there. And then Parham, the upside stab, and maybe likely next week. But again, break the bank type of guy. Given he just has not been the guy without Mark Andrews so far this year. Could change. Still definitely worth the ad, but approach that with caution. In terms of the other side for Burrow, this is trickier because there's just not as many quarterbacks out there in the leagues, but torn ligament in the wrist will miss the remainder of the season. Ultimately, what could you do? The trade deadline's still there. I love trying to get Kyler Murray before he explodes, probably today against Houston. But overall, his playoff schedule is great. If you're still in a position to make the playoffs, Kyler could be a good option. Stafford, I saw dropped in a lot of leagues. Russell Wilson sitting out there with a juicy top 8 schedule the rest of the way as well. It's not great options. I understand that. But let me know if you're scrambling to replace Burrow, you're scrambling to replace Mark Andrews. Who are some guys out there in your league? Get them in the comments. I know it's mostly sit starts here today, but that's going to obviously be a huge topic. That's why I want to spend a quick 5 minutes here making sure we really dive into those 2 huge injuries. All right, Wolf, we have about 20 questions already, and then about 20 of you here. Thumbs ups again. They really do help us out, get to more people. Like, shares, retweets. My man CJ should be here momentarily. I know it was a surprise party for his wife last night. He mentioned crazy, awesome Brazilian barbecue. Love to see it. I told him if he needs to take the day, he can take the day. So maybe we'll see CJ. Hungover CJ typically has more wisdom anyways. So maybe we'll see him. Maybe we won't. Maybe it's technical problems. Who knows? But I did kind of let him know if he needs to take this one off. The early show after a crazy surprise party for his wife. Yeah, that makes sense. Or his girl. Cheers to that. Alrighty, no Deshaun Watson. We already knew that for the rest of the season, but just DTR getting the start. Obviously, I don't love playing him, but again, Superflex leagues, people are desperate. Let us know if you have a question on him. All the practice reports, I was shocked that they went to him over PJ Walker, who's led this team to some wins. He's looked competent. He's not great. I'm not saying that, but he's been keeping them steady. So I figured they'd keep the team chemistry, go to Walker. He's been doing it for him throughout the year. But no, they actually went to DTR, and I was trying to figure out why. So I read some practice reports, and all of the praise of it glowing that DTR has really stepped up since kind of getting his face demolished in that one lone start. That was kind of coming out of nowhere for him too. Now that he's had some time to prepare, be the starter, work with the ones, they have said he's looked really, really impressive all week. Again, not saying this is a must start by any means. He's down towards the bottom of my top 25 quarterbacks here. But 2 quarterback leagues, Superflex, DFS punt-wise, there is ways that you might have Dorian Thompson-Robinson questions. And certainly in Dynasty, I'm intrigued to see what he does. I know they're committed to Deshaun Watson, but maybe they can find someone to take on. Who knows? Just worth an interesting ad there. Justin Fields activated from injured reserve. Been a 4-game absence. He's typically done really, really well against the Lions. In his last 2 games, the full games before he went out. Now, he looked bad against the Vikings. There is an up and down roller coaster narrative to Justin Fields this year. I get it. But the 2 full games he had before that, he was killing. He actually had 27 passing points in fantasy football, in addition to 10 designed runs and all the limitless rushing ceiling you have from Justin Fields. So he's back, and this is somebody you're wondering about. I think he's right there into your lineups. I do prefer the safety of a Brock Purdy. I like Jared Goff on the other side of the ball significantly more, just to kind of let's see what we've got here. But there's every world where he comes back and has 30 points today. He's typically dominated the Lions. They struggled with mobile quarterbacks. I was looking at some stats that Lamar's best day this year came against them, and just dating back to Josh Allen, whoever it was, across the last 2 seasons. If they're mobile, they've crushed the Lions. So just keep that in mind. That Fields is in a good spot today. DJ Moore gets a huge boost up my rankings with Fields officially activated. The downfield targets have been non-existent with Tyson Bagent, but they were peppering 16 of 10-plus yard throws with Justin Fields to DJ Moore. 10 of them were caught for over 250 yards. They were great. The connection was amazing. I'm excited to see these guys. And then Fields' last full game, 2 games, we saw 50 and 33 points from DJ Moore. So right back in the lineups, right back in that elite ceiling. Let us know if you have DJ Moore questions, but you can't let the Tyson Bagent experience really taint what we were seeing, something special between DJ Moore and Justin Fields. So I definitely am getting back where I have DJ Moore right into my flexes, wide receiver 3s, wherever it is. I have him as a top 15 wide receiver this week. I really believe that they can get right there and going again. And then Stafford expected to play this week against the Seahawks, as is Puka Nacua. You think that, with the bye week, he doesn't carry an injury designation. It should be good to go Stafford. You never know. Seriously, the Burrow thing, what's going on. The injury reporting's all sketch this year. So I can't say for sure he's 100%, but it seems like he's off the injury report. Should be good to go. Again, if you're looking for a Burrow replacement, maybe you add him ahead of this week because it's Stafford. And the touchdowns have not been there, but the yards are. He has looked good. The weapons are there. Now Cooper Kupp and Puka, they really haven't had the time to fully exploit these two. And the stretch on schedule isn't horrendous there. So that's where I'd be looking. In terms of running back news, Wolfpack, Devon Achane is back off injured reserve, and he's better be back in your lineups. Top 6 matchup against the Raiders, averaging over 30 DraftKings points per game. Devon Achane, what an absolute monster this guy is. 12.1 yards a carry, all the efficiency yards. We don't need to hear him. You guys know how good he is. It sounds like he could have been activated a couple weeks ago too, so I'm not too worried about a light concern and easing him in. I think we're going to get the usual 10 to 15 and however many touches. When he gets the ball, we've seen it time and time again. Explosive play after explosive play. Top 6 running back for me this week. He's back in your lineups. You got to love Devon Achane in this offense today in a great matchup. Then you got Gibson, doubtful. Seems unlikely to play. He might have even been ruled out at this point. Great news for Brian Robinson, who last week's RB1, the RB6 on the season in PPR, RB4 and half PPR. And he's still getting ranked like the RB18. I heard the stat today. I was doing my usual 6 a.m. kind of sunrise, awesome research, deep dive. I love doing that. Go down the beach on a Sunday and then seeing the sunrise. Oh, beautiful morning today, huh? Enjoy the coffee, listen to some pods, get the research in. So I guess Brian Robinson, I didn't know this one. Apparently he leads the NFL in fantasy points per target right now. He also has insane metrics in terms of yards per route run and how he's actually being used not just as a dump off and he's making big plays. He's actually getting creative usage in the receiving game too. All the targets are likely to go to him now. Do you really think Chris Rodriguez, even if he's playing some of Gibson's snaps, he didn't come in as this insane receiving back. He was kind of the Brian Robinson handcuff, that type of there. So I really like Robinson to probably get a 3-down roll against the pathetic New York Giants. My wife said at yoga, so I can say that out loud. Horrendous, abysmal New York Giants here. It's going to be the right game flow. Rico Dowdle had 15 points because he was getting garbage mop-up duty in quarter 4. The only guy that can't score against them apparently is Tony Pollard this season. We know that this is a great script for Brian Robinson. The receiving usage should be better than it's ever been, and he's thriving as a receiver right now. I love him. I think he's a top 10 running back play. He's ranked as like an RB 15 to 18 range in the ECR. I have him right in my top 10 at running back 8. And honestly, the more I talk about him, the more I want to bump him up. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he's back-to-back top 3 RB finishes across his last couple of games. A messier situation is the Bears. Khalil Herbert's expected back. Foreman's expected to play. We know Fields is back. Become a 4-headed nightmare. It's not a great matchup anyways here. Detroit's awful in terms of for running backs. They're a very good run defense. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Detroit has limited running backs to the 4th fewest points and been in particular pretty good lately as well. So I don't like a potential 4-headed nightmare, whether it's Foreman, Herbert, maybe Roschon gets the axe here. Who knows? But then you got Justin Fields as the potential vulture. It's not a great situation for the running game, and maybe in the right matchups, maybe Khalil Herbert ends retaking that role, but Foreman looked really good. If you can avoid the backfield this week, I definitely want to. I'd rather see how this shakes out and go otherwhere. Maybe Tyson Chandler, although we do have Alexander Mattison officially questionable, maybe that extra time with the Sunday night game. We don't know quite yet. We do know that Justin Jefferson, when we get to receivers, is not in, but they still have Mattison listed as questionable. They don't play the Sunday night. I don't love waiting for this backfield at this point because if they're both active, we saw them splitting touches 50-50 when Mattison was in. I only really like this if Madison's out and Chandler's about to be the guy. 77% of the snaps, 70% of the rushes, all that good stuff. So Chandler could be a really nice stream. We just don't know yet if he's going to be having his backfield to himself or not. If both of them are in, I don't really like either of them. Despite a great match against the Broncos, I'm sure one of them will probably get it done. It's just going to be so tricky to know who it is. If you have both running backs, though, you can wait it out. Then maybe you do, because I guess I'd probably play Mattison if I had Chandler, but Madison's activated. He's just been the guy so far. But something to monitor, something to watch here. Damian Pierce not expected to play. I heard this stat today in my morning research. Devin Singletary has the single highest rushing prop of the day today by like 15 more yards than McCaffrey. Crazy stuff. And honestly, it's not even fully unwarranted. The Cardinals are giving up 130-something yards on the ground, the second most yardage surrendered in the league right now. And Devin Singletary is fresh off 30 carries, 150 yards last week. He was an absolute monster, and now he gets an even better matchup he looked really good too, passed the eyeball test for sure. So Damian Pierce being out yet again, I think this is Devin Singletary's backfield regardless, but it's sure nice to know 80% of the rushes last week, 91% of the snaps. They just made him the complete and utter focal point of this backfield, and Devin Singletary came through huge for you. So I really like Devin Singletary this week. Let me know if you have questions on him. I'm checking my rankings, honestly, because I talk about Devin Singletary, and there's very few guys I really do have above him, and yet I don't think my rankings quite reflect that yet. So I'm just diving in real quick. Bear with me, Wolfpack, as I just update my rankings, because the more I talk about him, the more I'm in love with him. I have him in all my lineups. I was patient. I didn't cut him after those bad couple weeks. So I have him, way too low on here. I have him at running back 18. I'd rather have him than Ken Walker, honestly, over Derrick Henry. I know how crazy that is, over Rachaad White. I have him over Barkley, and I have both of these running backs, and if I had to bench one, I would have benched him. I kind of cut it off at Javonte Williams, who's really getting his legs under him here. DeAndre Swift, it's a tough matchup against Kansas City, but I love that just game in general. So, I'm going to keep him below those guys, David Montgomery, revenge game, Brian Robinson, as we just kind of hyped up. I'm bumping him up the more we talk about him. That's kind of where these guys settle in for me. But that would be, again, Devin Singletary. Really, really high on him. Let us know if you have flex, running back 2, whatever type of questions on him. The only other running back note I have is DeMarcado is out for the Cardinals, locks in Connor to yet another high-volume game. We'll see. He hasn't been getting the target share. It's really much different. It's a tight end funnel offense. It's Trey McBride show, as we love to say, and it's proving true this year, but it does give Connor a little bit of a higher floor here. It's definitely a quality running back to play. And then Rico Dowdle downgraded to questionable. That was a bit of a concern here. I've been stashing him in everywhere I have him. Honestly, thought he could be an interesting plug and play. And if he's activated, I still think that's the case. The exact script that led to him getting points last week, 14 points, is in play this week against the pathetic worst team in the NFL, Carolina Panthers. It's a 10.5-point spread. I don't think it's even enough. I think the Cowboys are going to dominate them by 30. One of my favorite bets of the day. Cowboys, whatever points they're getting, take them. They're going to destroy them, and it's going to lead to probably some garbage time carries for Rico Dowdle, or if it's Malik Davis or Deuce Vaughn. I don't know who it's going to end up being at this point, but whoever it is, I think is in a good spot. It makes Tony Pollard, obviously. Should he rebound? Absolutely. Is he going to? He hasn't yet. So I have him below, 10 spots below the ECR, still in play. Let us know if you have Pollard questions. But Rico Dowdle, I was intrigued as like a desperation plug-in here. At this point, I would have had him ahead of Ty Chandler and some of these other desperation plugins, but now he's questionable. We don't know 100% if we can rely on him, but still one of the better handcuffs, regardless, even if he doesn't play and something happens to Pollard today. He's still worth rostering, even if he's not in. But I did think he had some dart throw upside. Panthers give him the second most touchdowns, or most touchdowns of the grade, and the second most points to backs in the league. So something that I just made note of. We are now moving on to wide receivers. Far less notes here. Running back was the much busier thing. So quick, 6 notes on receivers, 3 notes on tight ends. Then it's to all your questions. About 38 here with us. You love to see it. This morning time seems to be working out, but we have had like 50, 60 with the morning games going. So another plea, the thumbs up button, the shares, the likes, the retweets, all that good stuff. It truly does help us out, Wolfpack. Thank you again so much for being here on your early morning. And the other thing, if you want to cut the line, if you got to get in and out, super chats are a way to get right in there. Support your guys. It's always appreciated. We got our guy, Mr. Campanelli, camped in there watching out for any super chats that come in. So we will let you cut the line, and it goes to help your boys out. So thank you again so much. But the freeway is, again, that thumbs up, the shares, the likes, the retweets, all that good stuff. It really, really does help us out, especially the early, first 20 minutes of the show. If we can get that like for you, it really, really does help us. All righty, Wolf Pack. Let's go to the wide receivers here. Justin Jefferson not being activated this week. That's fine. Get him fully healthy. I fully respect that. I love to see it, especially with their playoff now picture. They're right in the thick of things with Josh Dobbs and whatnot. I did bump Josh Dobbs just a spot or two below. He has 3 straight 25-point games. None of those had Justin Jefferson, so it's not like I don't believe in him. I still have him at quarterback 11 here, but just keep getting note. He's just not. I bumped up Brock Purdy ahead of him, for example. Garrett Wilson says he's going to play. I know there's a lot of questions there this week, and he was banged up and continues to get it done. He's number 6 right now in terms of target share in the NFL. I think he's number 7 in terms of total targets at this point. I know it's not pretty, and the ceiling will always be capped when you're attached to Zach Wilson over here. So the Wilson to Wilson duo hasn't been great, but he's still a top 14 fantasy wide receiver on the year. It just makes you think, what could have been if Aaron Rodgers had stayed healthy? But he's right in your laps. He's top 15 play this week. The Bills continue to get dinged up. So, yeah, I'm definitely riding him out. Tyler Lockett, still questionable. We didn't get the Friday practice report somehow this weekend. It sounds like he probably got a limited session and is probably going to play, but it's something to monitor. Certainly JSN, DK Metcalf, those guys get nice bumps up the Rams secondary. Nothing too special. We saw CeeDee Lamb recently just go absolutely nuclear against them. So Lockett probably in play, but just something to keep monitoring as we approach game time. Aaron Wilson reports Noah Brown will not play. My number 2 pickup of the week, had I known that, obviously that would not have been the case for Noah Brown. So something that you got to keep in mind there. Certainly helps out Tank Dell. We keep asking, what's this going to look like when all 4 of the receivers are healthy? Nico Collins returns to the lineup. He's going to start today. Good. Helps him out that Noah Brown's not there. We still won't really have a clear picture as to how this is all going to get distributed down the stretch when they are all healthy. But it seems like maybe that will never be the case. Maybe it's just the curse of this Texans core is somebody will have to be out, and all the other guys thrive when you're attached to the quarterback average, the most passing yards per game, the most rookies ever average. CJ Stroud, can't say enough great things about him, and you all know that. You all feel it too. Jalen Guyton is on the injury report. He's questionable. He got added on Friday with a groin injury. That's never good for a late week addition. Maybe it gives Quentin Johnson a little bit more breakout appeal with no Jalen Guyton there, but I don't buy that fully. I have him stashed in a couple leagues here, but I'm looking to probably add more tight ends or figure out some depth situations because I have Mark Andrews there. And then Jalen Hyatt removed from the Giants report. Doesn't matter. We're talking about Tommy DeVito here. Before we get to tight ends, it does look like, Wolfpack, we have a super chat. So I did want to pop on over. Stephen Drakes, thank you so much for the support here. Really, really appreciate it. You get to cut the line as always, and it goes such a long way. So thank you, Stephen Drakes. He played Andrews. Nice. So, I mean, not nice. Obviously, that sucks. I picked Andrews. Everybody's already crying about it on the beginning of the show here. I'm not happy about this, but I'm happy for you. At least there's one positive is my man, Stephen Drakes, consistently supporting the show. It's off to a fast start. So you need more safety than anything, it probably sounds like, unless his team was absolutely stacked and yours was an underdog. You need 5 half PPR. Well, this is why you super chat for questions like this. Normally I just say, Steven, limit it down, but hey, you super chatted. We'll dive into this. Adams, Nico, Dell, Henderson, Achane, McBride, Amari. So to me, I love Achane the most. He's a lock. Whenever he's in, I'm playing Achane. There's no doubt about it, especially in a good matchup like he has today. Tank Dell, to me, is becoming every week play. I was in that research I was doing this morning. A lot of the talk was the coverages that he's going to be facing against the Cardinals. The coverages Dell typically thrives against that Nico has not been so good at. So Dell, lock in for me. I'd rather not go both of those guys. So go Dell for that. Now we need a few more here. You got to play Adams. I know it's been up or down and certainly down lately, but they're going to need to play catch up against Miami. Aiden O'Connell has peppered him in the past. It's Devontae Adams, and the rest of these options don't stack up to him. And then I like McBride as well. 25 points in 2 of his last 3 games, not getting that on the bench. So then your last call, as I said, I'm not playing Nico and Dell. It comes down to Amari and Henderson. And with DTR at QB, I'd rather go Henderson. I agree. Seattle's given up the most rush yards across the last 4 games. They've been absolutely bludgeoned the last 2, back-to-back games with at least one running back scoring over 20 points against them. I don't love Henderson. I think I'm struggling with Henderson's upside. Yeah, I don't think the upside's huge, but it's the last game without Kyron Williams. He has been the starting guy. We do have Stafford back. He was solid in all the games with Stafford. So I go there. I think it's Amari. I'm very sketched about with DTR. He's gone to double PJ Walker. If Walker's playing, I'd probably have a different tune here. And then again, I don't want to play Nico and Dell when you have other good options. You could, I might double stack Nico and Dell if you wanted to bench Henderson and you're worried about his upside. But to me, I feel like you're getting a nice safe 8 to 15 points there from Henderson. And when you have you're up, you don't need the upside of again. Nico's the riskiest bench here. He could go off for 30. He is one of only 3 wide receivers with multiple 30-point PPR days. So you want to go for that, you totally can. It's justifiable to play Nico and Dell when you have a quarterback like CJ Stroud and no Noah Brown. I think in your situation, I'd probably lean Henderson. I'm benching Amari no matter what, so it comes down to those 2 as my last one in. You want the upside, you want the juice, you go Nico. You want the safety, you go Henderson. The other 4 for me are all locks. Steven, thank you so much for your support of the show as well. It really does. The likes and retweets is all great too. It's so good, but those super chats, it's kind of the musicians that have the tip hat out there that when they leave and you throw something in there, they always say how far it goes for them. It really does help us out so much, Wolfpack. We're going to round out with some tight end news. Couple quick notes is that Pat Frymuth is activated, as mentioned. I don't like him at all this week. Cleveland, the worst matchup for tight ends other than Mark Andrews, they're limiting tight ends to fewer than 3 fantasy points a game. Fry's not going to do anything this week, in my guess. And ultimately, I do question how high is his rest of season ceiling, given he's in a Kenny Pickett offense. Kenny Pickett's thrown for 2 touchdowns once in his Steelers career. He's thrown for over 200 yards like twice this season. There's not a great aerial pie here. I think it's still mostly Deontay Johnson, a couple spikes from Kenny Pickett, but maybe they start to air it out. Maybe Fry was that missing piece. I love Pat Fry in general talent. I think he's a beast. He's a good red zone body. I work with his parents, so I have some reason and rooting interest here to really think he could. He's really done well in the past, so I think he's worth a stash. He's not a tight end that should be out there in over half of leagues at least. I wouldn't judge him on this week's performance. I wouldn't want to start him this week, but since he next week can get right back in the last, will probably be a top 12 tight end. Gerald Everett also out. So if you needed a streamer, instead of Pat Freiermuth, I'd rather go to Donald Parham today. He always thrives when he gets the usage. He's 6'10", whopping red zone body to just hurl it up to. And Herbert's constantly shown that. So I like Donald Parham today, 3% rostered. I like Tyler Conklin as well for there. And then in terms of just defensive notes, Jair Alexander and Carlton Davis are both questionable for cornerbacks, and that's big. They do lock down number ones quite well. And then Adoree Jackson is out, the only good secondary member for the Giants. So wheels up for the Commanders, all the passing game, Terry McLaurin, maybe Jahan Dotson if you need. They're going to smash him. And I still think it's mostly Brian Robinson show today, but the receivers could absolutely get after it as well. All righty, guys. That does, I believe, wrap up all our news and notes. So as we get into now the mailbag, one last plea. Well, probably not the last plea, but I am going to ask one more time for that thumbs up button. It does really help us out in that first 30 minutes of the show to get your likes, your shares, your retweets. Keep the questions coming. Cannot wait to answer them all. We'll kick it off to our first call of the day. Mr. Ken.
How you doing?
Hey, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday indeed. 4 more weeks to the playoffs. I'm pumped, man.
I know you are, but this is a week. Let me tell you.
Let's get into it.
So let's go. So I need 2 running. I have Pollard going because I think this is a potential rebound game, but I need an RB2 and a flex, and I have Charbonnet and Kareem Hunt. What do you think? Or would you drop like a Lenny Fournette for like a Romeo Doubs to flex out?
I'm not playing both those guys. I don't think you can trust Charbonnet. I know the usage is okay there. I'd go Kareem Hunt. He's been a good source of touchdowns. They're going to lean on the backs. It's not a bad matchup for backs against Pittsburgh, top 10 matchup. I like Hunt as your RB2. Who's some other options that you have potentially for your flex?
On my bench right now, no, they're out or on bye. I could drop like Lenny Fournette to pick up like a Romeo Doubs or a Michael Wilson, or like I could drop Josh Downs.
I would drop Lenny and I would pick up Romeo Doubs. The Chargers is a good matchup. Most points allowed to wide receivers. He's like tied for top 2 in terms of end zone targets this year. He's been a good touchdown machine. Like I like him in general. I think this is a great matchup for him. They likely will have to be throwing the ball to keep pace for the Chargers. I like that. I think I'd go. I feel better about that. I'm still intrigued to stash Charbonnet. I'm not saying cut him by any means. We still got handcuff value there, and it is handcuffed with benefits. But to me, Romeo Doubs has a nicer floor and ceiling. I guess I shouldn't say floor. We've seen him disappear, but I feel good about Doubs today, and just in general the passing. I don't want Christian Watson. You know that he'll probably have 50 points because I finally cut him. But ultimately, Doubs has been that steady, red zone factor there. So I lean Romeo Doubs. I cut Lenny where I needed for tight ends and whatnot. As much as I still love the stash, it seems like it's at least another week or 2 away. Maybe you can sneak him back onto the roster next week. I think he's a cut and you'll be okay. I don't even think he's going to be activated today, so we're not going to learn anything new. I mean, if James Cook, something happened to him, then that would stink. You dropped his handcuff, but yeah, I don't think Charbonnet is worth the start today. And then if you have it on like Romeo Doubs.
And then a question I'm seeing a lot, and this was going to be one of my questions, is Purdy versus Murray.
That's one of the toughest ones of the day. It's like the same DraftKings price as well too. So I've been kind of sifting through that myself. I am going Purdy. Ultimately is where I kind of landed there. I have Purdy 11 and Murray 12, so they are neck and neck. But the Bucs give up the second most points. They also are frisky enough that they keep games typically pretty competitive. And even when they don't, we've started to see Kyle Shanahan just. I always have compared to the Bills of a couple of years ago, where they just, even when they're up, they continue to pound and just pack up points. he's got 20 and 24 points, quarterback 11 and quarterback 6 in his last 2. And now Debo's back, the full assortment of weapons, the good matchup. I think Purdy's the safe play. I do love, again, Kyler's one spot below him right now. I love Kyler too. I love that Houston game. I think that's a really fun one. Arizona versus CJ Stroud versus Murray, two of the more exciting young quarterback talents. I could definitely see that game opening up and really going for it. He was a top 12 quarterback last week with no passing touchdowns. So it was all on the rushing. 6 carries, 33 yards of the rush. He had an interception, only 249 pass yards, and still was a fringe quarterback one here in his first game of all of this year. Now it's not a bad matchup either. So I get the narrative for both. I just feel like Purdy's a bit safer. His ceiling gets underplayed just because he is so safe that people just don't recognize. He also can go for 25 to 30 any given week. And against the Bucs, he might do that again. So I feel a little bit better about Purdy. Man, that's a tough one. Like, hey, they're neck and neck. I love them both. I lean Purdy myself, though.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely, Campanelli. Well, best of luck in week 11. If you had any others, toss them in the chat. I'm going to start mowing through those. Appreciate you checking for those super chats. And Wolfpack, that's our mod over there, our man Campanelli. So he always gets to cut the line. He always calls in, keeps the streak alive. So let's get on back to your questions. And again, if you'd like to end up cutting the line, that super chat, support your guys, and it helps us get out there. We have about an hour and 20 minutes, though, till 10 o'clock. That's when I'm going to cut it off. But until then, I am here for all your questions. So let's start to mow through it. Brent Estrella camping out at 6:30 in the morning. Good to see you. Start one tight end, one flex. Pat Fryermuth, Luke Musgrave, Ty Chandler, Pacheco. Haven't used Deontay Johnson at receiver. Don't love Deontay Johnson against Cleveland. But what can you do? So for tight ends, I don't like Fry today. I don't love Musgrave, but I would go Musgrave over Fry. I'll toss out there. I'd rather start Donald Parham, who's probably out there in your league. I have no problem cutting Musgrave for him. I'd rather have Ty Conklin, who has a great schedule coming down the stretch too. So I have both those guys above Luke Musgrave, and I would go that route. It's just such a tough matchup for Fryermuth first game back. I don't want to put him in my lineups where I don't have to. I don't really trust that. So I do like Parham and Conklin. I'm making sure my rankings again. So I love this show. It forces me to think these things through, and it's a great question. I'm bumping. I said I like Fryermuth less than Musgrave, so I'm doing that. I also like Conklin more than Musgrave, so I'm doing that. So yeah, I have Parham 14, Conklin tight end 15. So if you're just looking for a 1 week stream, I think Parham's the guy. Conklin's safer though. Again, 6 for 66, 7 for 70. I don't think people recognize how good he's been. And that could be I know it's not Mark Andrews, but the schedule is very, very juicy for Ty Conklin. So if you're anyone else out there looking for a potential plug and play with a great schedule the rest of the way, that's where I would. I know you have more than just a tight end. So let me just go to the flex. And for me, I got to go Pacheco here. I know the matchup of the Eagles isn't great, but the Chiefs, I'm not calling them matchup proof, but the touchdowns are why you want Pacheco. They can move the ball. Certainly the passing game is going to get it done. So you just need Pacheco to pound 1 or 2 in. We've seen Brian Robinson score, multiple touchdowns, even though he did have like 30 yards on the ground, still scoring 17 fantasy points because a couple dink and dunks, a couple touchdowns. I can see something like that for Pacheco today. Good morning, Blue Knockout Pearson. My options are very limited. I need a lot of people are limited at running back, so you're not alone here, Blue Knock. It's a weird bye week where there's not a lot of passing game juice out, but then you got Kamara, Taylor. Like I've seen a lot of bad backfields this week, so you are not alone. Let's see how we can sort through this. Charb, Freeman, Dottle, or Murray. I like Dottle the most, assuming he plays. I know he's downgraded to questionable, but I've talked about it. He's my Hail Mary of the week. I think they're going to get up huge. It's the second most points allowed to backs. The same script that he had last week that got him 14 points is in place, but in a better even matchup, So I like Dottle. I feel really good about Dottle, particularly of those options. I have him the highest. So that is where I lead. He's my running back 32 as of right now. The other guys are interesting stashes, but yeah, I don't trust the Bears. Let me just double check Blue Knockout. I'm going to double check my Bears rankings because I want to make sure they're not yet. Foreman and Khalil Herbert are like 37, 38, like around Tajay Spears, below Charbonnet, below Spears. But Battle, I have 4 spots above both of them. So I just want to make sure I reflected that in my rankings, and I do. All righty, Juan Pena. Good to see you as always, my man. I'm rocking the Pats gear, even though they're pathetic. My dad had a good dad joke this morning. He goes, hey, it's the 1 week the Patriots won't lose. Classic dad joke. Yeah, the bye week. It gave me a good chuckle. Maybe it gives any of you dads or corny people like me a good chuckle too. Juan Pena Jr., who's my wide receiver 1 and 2 flex spot? So wide receiver 1, Myers, Dobbs, Cooper, Connor, Lockett, Samuel, Dillon. So I think Connor's your lock for the flex here. Tyler Lockett, assuming he's in, is locked into the wide receiver 1 spot. Then it starts to get a little dicey, especially, again, with Cooper playing with DTR. I love all the positive reports. This is definitely one that, if I don't have to play my Browns, as good as Cooper's been, and certainly if it's PJ Walker, I'd say it's Lockett's Walker. Let's move on, or Lockett and Cooper, rather. But it's just sketchy with him. So I'm double-checking where I have Cooper ranked, and I have him higher than I think I'd like. So I'm bumping him down as we speak, right into like the Brandon Cooks range. And Romeo Dobbs I have lower. That I'd rather have Dobbs than Cooper is what I'm getting at. So I'm changing my rankings here to kind of reflect that. I still don't trust Myers. I know our own Kayla wrote about him and likes him a lot this week. I personally don't. So I'm going Dobbs, and I'm going Tyler Lockett there for the wide receivers. And then I like James Conner for the flex. Juan Pena again. D. Henry, Aaron Jones, or Warren. You got to keep going, Henry. I know it's ugly. I know it's scary. The Jags aren't a great matchup either. But it's the other two. Maybe you got. I don't love Aaron Jones, though. A lot of people love him this week. And I get the usage is improving. He hasn't passed the eyeball test. Not necessarily Henry either, but we've seen Henry blow up these big runs. We haven't seen anything really from Aaron Jones since week 1. So I'm leaning Henry there. Juan Pena. I love the Jalen Warren. Like, he's starting today. I'm very intrigued to see what he does. I still think it's going to be at best, 55, 45, and goal line going to Najee. Maybe not. Maybe he takes over the reins like a Pollard situation last year. Against Cleveland, I'd rather wait and see. Mr. Russo, good to see you. Cheers. Pick 1 running back and 1 flex PPR. Singletary, Achane, or Tank Dell. I'm going Achane, no doubt about it. And the flex question gets really tough with Dell versus Singletary. Love them both. I have them both in my lineup. Rest of regular season and in DraftKings today, I like the matchup for them in every aspect. I do think the classic cop-out, and I'm not trying to make a cop-out. I'll make a final stand here. The ceiling is obviously with Dell. He destroys the coverage that Arizona runs the most, and 26% target share. The last 3, he's a beast. I love Tank Dell. You guys know this. In the full PPR, obviously it helps him out too. And with no Noah Brown, I imagine he kicks into the slot a bit more where he can do even more damage. I'm probably going to go Tank Dell in most situations in the full PPR. That being said, Singletary is safer. There's no doubt about it. You're going to get probably 15 to 20 carries minimum. Maybe you get 30 again against Cardinals defense. Give him the 3rd most points to back, the 2nd most yards in the league. Everything comes up spade for Singletary in terms of snaps, usage, receiving work. It's all going to be there. And he's looked good. I like Singletary for probably 15 to 20 points. I think Tank Dell has the higher ceiling. So if you're the favorite, I'd probably actually go Singletary. Just play it safe, ride it out, get your 14 probably points and maybe 20 points there if he gets to the end zone, right? But Tank Dell does have the ceiling. And I mean, that's a really tough one. I love them both. I really do. I most situations would probably go Tank Dell. But if I am the favorite by 8 to 10 points, or I just feel really good about my other matchups, I'd probably just go Singletary and go safe there. I already have Laporta. My QBs are Geno, Rush. I trade Kittle for Tua straight up. Tua has the worst quarterback schedule the rest of the way, Giuseppe. And I know like it's blown over proportion sometimes. And I certainly think the Miami Dolphins have the speed, the talent, the coaching for that schedule to not necessarily be a huge detriment. I like what you're thinking. I like the idea of trading Kittle. Maybe you can package Kittle and Geno, Kittle and Russ, and get a quarterback. If Tua is the only one you can get, then I think I probably would do it. But I did want to put that caution out there. Again, the hardest schedule rest away, that worst playoff schedule. But if you're never going to use Kittle, if Laporta is going to consistently be your tight end, which he should be, yeah, I mean, it does upgrade your team. Tua is better than both those guys. So, yes, do I pull the trigger? Probably. Are there other guys you might target instead? Maybe as well. Bench Mixon on Thursday. Hey, not bad. He got the end zone, though, right? I liked Mixon. I think I told you the plan. Pick 3. So I actually like going both of the Lions guys here. Monty, the revenge game. Gibbs in the better role. Yes, he got the goal line carries, but I was reading the report that Monty actually kind of set himself out. I was like, hey, Gibbs, you want this one? You guys all the way down here. You take it. And he got a second one after that, too. Dan Campbell will be rewarding him twice in a row. But I know that knowing Dan Campbell loves the revenge game stuff, loves to feed his guys. Monty's going to get his today. So is Gibbs, though, in the receiving game and every aspect of it, and especially if Justin Fields can keep it competitive and there's a little bit of passing still there. I like Gibbs a lot, too. I'm going to go Singletary over White. White's been a top 12 running back in 4 straight games. I love him, too. I love all these options. But to me, he's the one that I bench here. Just happy. Full PPR might be a little different. Mattison or Jacoby Myers. I would go Mattison if he's playing, but obviously that's a big risk, and we don't have any news right now. Super flex. Do I start Fields, Kyler, or Howell? I would lean Kyler there. Howell will be my next one up. I like them both a lot. I saw some that Howell's actually on pace to break the NFL record for dropbacks this year. Just absolute madness. But I thought Kyler looked great. I love that game. I'm definitely targeting where I can. So I'm going Kyler there. Denny Jennings, big game for you guys today, or Monday rather, huh? Can't wait for that one tomorrow night. Half PPR Lockett, hamstring, Judy, Gabe. I'd go Lockett assuming he's in. And if not, I'd go Gabe. Buenos dias, Loba. What's up, Tomas Medina from Panama? PPR pick 1, Chandler, Ridley, JSN. I think I'm going Ridley here. I know famous last words, but in my research this morning, as I watched the sunrise, going to keep emphasizing the fact that I got up for a sunrise today, and it was beautiful. It changed my life. It gave me the fantasy wisdom I need today. And actually, while I was researching, though, Ridley, all the talk was about how Tennessee, pretty good against the slot. 6th worst matchup per slot, Christian Kirk there. The second most points allowed to outside wide receivers, and in particular, the coverages they run are coverages that Ridley nearly doubles his fantasy points against. So it seems like he's kind of due for him. I hate his quarterback. I don't think Trevor Lawrence. I've been on record saying this many times. Like, I'm not convinced Trevor Lawrence is that good of a player, and it's certainly bearing fruit this year. So maybe that caps him. But in terms of Chandler, if Mattison plays, yeah, nothing really there. JSN, if Lockett's out, okay. I'll flip those two. I'd rather have JSN than Ridley in that case. But for right now, with the info we have, Ridley's in the spot that he should smash. So let's see what he does, Tomas. Half PPR, DJ Johnson, JSN, or Guyton. Well, it sounds like Guyton might not play. He might be questionable here. I like JSN either way. Even in the third receiver role, he's starting to get it done. Los Andrews picked up Ott. Yeah, I don't mind Ott in there. The schedule's not great down the stretch for him, but he gets volume. Top 5 in route share, top 12 in target share. I get it. I get why. But I still think some of those other guys I mentioned, Danny Jennings, I like a little bit more. Good morning, Brian Fitz. Have a great Sunday. You as well, man. Bringing that positivity. Love it. Cheers. My question today is, half PPR flex can start 1. Checo, Walker, McBride, Collins. Call me nuts. I think I like Trey McBride there. Good matchup, third most points rather. A lot of tight ends, Houston. And McBride has just been eating. Kyler Murray's first came back, leads the team in yards, target share, 20-something fantasy points. And it's 2 out of his last 3 games, second in yards per run among tight ends. The guy's a monster. He's a top 6 tight end the rest of the way. Probably a top 3 tight end this week. I'm flexing him. I don't love the double tight end usually fits, but I like the most of those guys. And they're good, and they're good options too. That just goes to show you how high I feel about Trey McBride. And Wilpack, 48 a year. Love to see the 8 a.m. time. It feels like it works okay for you guys and your schedules. I'm seeing a lot of new names in the questions down later too. We're mowing through them all. We're going to get there for you. Appreciate you hanging on. That thumbs up button does greatly appreciate. Thursday, we had a great turnout. We left with 30 new subs. It was awesome. We're climbing to 4K. It's a big season goal. For whatever reason, arbitrary, it would make me feel good about myself, whatever. But we're trying to grow this thing. And if you are new here, you like what we're doing, please do consider subscribing. At minimum, hitting that thumbs up button, helping others find us. But we'd love to have you guys. I love the repeat names, the people that found us this season, that we're seeing come back to every show. Tells you we're doing something at least right. At least we're entertaining you. But our picks have been pretty good this year. And I'd love to have you aboard long-term Wolfpack. So please do hit that sub button if you like it. You enjoy the vibes. This is what we do. We answer your questions. We try to give you the no fluff. We get through the news, the notes you need, and we're here for you. So if you like that style, thumbs up and subs. It would mean a lot to us. And, of course, tuck one with the super chat. Eric Schaefer, want to start Rachaad White, but would have to sit Metcalf, McLaurin, or Waddle. Oof. You got some good options here, Eric. I can see why you're in a bit of a conundrum. I don't love the matchup for White. If it's full PPR, I get it. He's such a good receiving option. I think you're getting a near 0 on the ground today. So it's all going to come to how often is he used as a receiver, and does he score a touchdown either way, whether it's on the ground or as a receiver. But San Fran's a tough matchup. Not the you can't play against them matchup they were last year, but not a great matchup either. So I would personally prefer all three of these receivers ahead of him, honestly. I think Waddle's my favorite. Off the injury report, feels overdue for a blow-up. Raiders, they're actually pretty decent against receivers, but ultimately I think he's got the most juice here. But I love all three of those receivers, honestly, today. Full PPR, DJ Johnson, Laporta versus DJ making me pick like it's as if I had my two lovely children and I have to pick a favorite here. I love both these guys, and I have tons of teams with one or the other. I would hate to have them both. I have a team with Kincaid and Laporta, and I've just started to double flex them. I do have McBride one spot above because of the matchup, but I get it. Both these guys are awesome, and maybe you consider double flexing them at this point, DJ. But I go McBride, my tight end 5 versus my tight end 6, Laporta. Morning pick 2, Debo, Thielen, Nico Collins. I love Debo today. I love Purdy. I love Debo. I love the Niners. And then I'm going with Thielen. I get the last couple of weeks have been sketch, and Cowboys matchup not great. You think they're going to probably have to chase the points, though. It's a good secondary, limiting receivers, especially receiver ones, to a fair amount. But you look at what Thielen has been doing all year. He has been the only passing game option here, okay? Where's Nico Collins coming off the injury? Again, no Brown. You've seen many big days. These are great options, but I like Debo and Thielen the most. Try to trade Kittle to Andrew's owner. That's good. I would rather have CJ Stroud. No doubt about it, Giuseppe. Better schedule, trending. I go CJ Stroud. That's what you're playing it smart. Go after CJ Stroud over Tua, though. Philip, sorry to hear that, man. Happy Sunday to you, but yeah, I need to win. And guess what? I lost Mark Andrews in a lot of spots too. It sucks. There's really you try to find a silver lining to everything in life, right? We're philosophy with the Wolf here on Sunday morning. What is the silver lining here? It's brutal. That hip tackle, I hate it. And it was just, man, it was a steady 12 to 13 points with 20-point upside at your tight end spot. It hurts. The sad face is how I felt all weekend. I tweeted about at Rose Street Wolf a picture of the classic meme where it's, the girlfriend in bed, the boyfriend staring off in the distance. And it says, he's probably thinking about other girls, which you know how that goes. And then him looking at his phone, Mark Andrews, why Fantasy Gods, why? That's exactly how I felt all weekend. It's just it sucks. All right, enough rant there. Enough that therapy for me. So need to fill the last flex spot. Half PPR. Options are Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton, or McBride. Again, McBride. I love McBride. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your kind words. But McBride's my guy. I guess tight ends always are. I just feel like the riskier just disappear. He's in a role, and this is an offense that was peppering Ertz, the corpse of Ertz. A decrepit zombie was getting a 30% target share week in and week out. Now we got an actual athlete, a freak after the catch. I'm a huge fan. So yeah, I'm all in on McBride here. As good as I'm always higher on Sutton than the ECR. He usually comes through for me. I love Rashee Rice in the number one matchup for wide receivers, and still McBride's my guy. It's starting to evolve. We say it every week. Somebody starts to become the guy in the broadcast, and I'm happy that it's McBride. We've had real shitty streaming situations. Trenton Irwin, for example, came through for us actually. But this week, McBride being the guy, the face of the show, hell yeah, let's go. That's a guy I can get behind fully. Now it looks like we did get a super chat. Thank you, Campanelli, for constantly moderating for us. Some pounds across the way from Mr. Hemmings. Thank you as always for your support. I forget where you're out of, Ryan. Remind me in your comments as we move through here. Is it Scotland, England? I forget where you are. You told me before. I think it's Fraser McDonald's, who's Scotland. I forget where you are, Ryan. Remind me. Pick 2 of D-Hop, Godwin, Musgrave, and Pacheco. Kevin L. The moderated comments over there. D-Hop, Godwin, Musgrave, and Pacheco. I love D-Hop the most. Jags, the definition of a pass funnel. Pretty good against the run. And I get it. The last couple of weeks for Levis, they haven't been there. It's been disappointing to me. I cut him where I had him. I was hoping. Still good schedule. Still could be a guy to add in a little bit. Maybe a replacement plan for Burrow if he gets his juice back. D-Hop's in a great spot, though. A divisional team that he's dominated in the past. He's still getting all the targets in the world. I think we could get one of those 1 to 2 touchdown days out of D-Hop, at minimum 1. So I feel good about him. Then it starts to get a little sketch. It's not Musgrave for me. I'll tell you that. It's not Musgrave. I get the match against the Chargers. It's not Musgrave for me. I don't want to attach myself to Jordan Love if I don't have to, unless it's maybe Romeo Dobbs, a great touchdown bet. So Godwin versus Pacheco, it's just been such an Evans show this year, it fits Baker's style better. You got the contract narrative. It is full PPR, though, and the targets have been going Godwin's way. This feels like the 49ers, how you beat them is through the air. They're probably going to do Chuck. My gut's kind of telling me here, Hemmings, D-Hop, Godwin, just because that tough matchup against the Eagles, the lowest points allowed to running backs. I've said it for an earlier answer that I do think Pacheco's on a team that can overcome that type of matchup. But I feel okay about Godwin this week. I do. And Pacheco, just if he doesn't get in the end zone, I could see that being 30 yards, Whereas Godwin's probably in a PPR league going to catch 5, 6, has 10 catch upside too. We've seen it in the past. And maybe that's how they funnel it. Maybe they shut down Evans. And I like D-Hop and Godwin. That's where I'm going. So thank you again for the support so much, Ryan. Greatly appreciate it. Remind us where you're coming out of again. I always see the pounds pop up, and I remember Fraser, Scotland, but I forget where you hail. Alrighty, we are back to the mailbag, Wolfpack. Thank you again so much for your support with the super chats. As I usually do after a super chat, the free way to help us out. 50 of you here. You love to see it. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday morning with me. A great way to help us out, though, a free way. That thumbs up button, sharing it out to more people, liking, retweeting, all that good stuff. It really does truly help us grow. And again, so many new names here today. Please consider joining. It was great to see 20 new subs fresh off a Thursday night stream that started to pick up steam, and things are rolling the right way, and it feels good. And we're trying to grow this. We're trying to someday maybe this becomes a full-time thing, and more and more of you being here, more and more of you supporting us. It really does help us out to try to get there. That rant was just me trying to also find our spot, and I believe I have with Denny Jennings here. Would you trade Stafford to Burrow owner from it? Yes, 100%. Especially with those two quarterbacks. Are you kidding me, Denny? Yes. I didn't even know it was a super flex league. I didn't know you had those two quarterbacks, and my knee-jerk reaction was 100%. McBride, again, the face of the show. He's the best. I am so in on McBride. I know Ertz is going to come back, but there's no way. The toothpaste ain't going back in this tube. This kid is a stud. McBride is the man. All righty, pick 2, Debo, DK, Thielen, Nico Collins. Love Debo today. And I think we had you earlier, okay, so now you're just kind of adding DK to the mix, and that does – I had DK above Nico. I still think I go Thielen over DK, but hey, if Lockett's ruled out especially, then we flip that. What's up, Ronnie Daniel? Thank you, Cam. Now I just saw that. Good morning, Wolf. Need one running back in flex, Achane or Javonte. I would go the 2 running backs. Oh, man, but then you got Laporta and Kincaid as well. Thank you for your kind words as well, Ronnie. I think I go both running backs. And I love Christian Kirk. I love the double tight ends here. And now you got to choose between the tight ends. I start Kincaid over Laporta. Jets have been very generous to tight ends. Chicago's a good matchup for Laporta. They're both in good spots. Can't bench Achane. He's in my lineup. That's just kind of I'm always there. And Javonte just 19 points in back-to-back weeks or more, getting 80% of work. It's his backfield, and Javonte is Javonte again. And when Javonte's Javonte, he's a top 12 running back every single week. So 2 top 12 running backs. I'm going with that. Good luck, Ronnie. Great options. A bounty of riches. Purdy or Kyler. And as Camp Valley said, we got this one a bunch, Mike Clay. I'm going Purdy. Similar ceiling, safer floor. I like Purdy. Avery Chapman. Oh, yeah, the super chat. Sorry. Thank you, Camp Valley, for the reminder. And D-Man is D-Manin is Wiener. A new name for sure. And thank you so much for the support and cutting the line. And my apologies for answering a couple of questions ahead of you. You should have been first up here. So let's see what we got here. Traded CJ Pittman for Waddle. Have Mahomes already, half PPR. So I think you're just asking for a trade review here. This is a tough one for me. Because I'll just tell you this. I actually don't – I'm guessing you traded Pittman and CJ away to get Waddle. I prefer the other side. I prefer CJ and Pittman. Now, I get it when you have Mahomes. You can only use one of them. You're trying to capitalize on your depth. I get it. Waddle, is not the one I would have gone after. I think your thought process was well. They have the worst schedule for wide receivers, both in the playoffs and the rest of season. CJ Stroud is so hot right now. Like Pittman versus Waddle is pretty close. I probably do prefer Waddle, yes, if it was one versus the other. Pittman's schedule is glorious. It's gorgeous. You get 14 targets a week. I mean, I'm a huge Pittman fan, and I don't have money teams. I miss him. I wish I had him. I was down on him this year, and I'm kicking myself for it. He's a beast, especially with Gardner Minshew just peppering him. So, I mean, Pittman versus Waddle is pretty close to a deadlock for me. I do side Waddle, but then you mix in CJ Stroud, the most exciting rookie there. there's a world where like CJ Stroud outscores Mahomes the rest of the way, right? So I wish there's like trades on the table and we could kind of rework it. So at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't help me to bash your trade. I get that. And it's not a bad trade. I get the mindset. And this offense schedule could maybe get tossed out the window. McDaniels is that much of a genius. We've seen Waddle. If he is fully healthy, he's off the injury report. This is the Waddle of old. It's just been so in or out and so many injuries and bad vibes this year that with Pittman and him being so close and Stroud just being that guy, how I might have attacked this trade, D-Man is D-Man and his wiener. It's going to make me chuckle every time I read your name. I probably would attack this from like Mahomes has that name value. I could have maybe packaged Mahomes and Pittman and gone up to like an A.J. Brown or like a C.D. Lamb. You know what I mean? Like one of those elite receivers. I feel like you upgraded slightly with Pittman, Waddle over Pittman, but you could have maybe capitalized on your QB depth a little bit better and made a move for like a real huge upgrade, a tier to 2 jump, whereas those guys are in the same tier right now. I think you could have maybe leaped up even further, and the schedule concerns also a little bit had me down on that. But let me know what you think, D-Man and his wiener. Again, you upgraded a spot using a bench player. I'm always in favor of that. I just think there might have been other ways to attack it that could have squeezed out even more value. I'm always going to give an honest assessment, even in a super chat. You know, I obviously want to hype you up and thank you for your support of the site, but I'm going to be honest, and that's kind of my knee-jerk reaction to this trade, where I grade it. I think he made out very, very well, and you got an upgrade, sure, to your starting lineup, but it doesn't justify. I'm just also super high on Stroud, like very, very high. Like I said, I think I could see him outscoring Mahomes the rest of the way. So I might have been okay turning the keys over to him and trading Mahomes is how I do that. Thank you, though, for the support. I really do appreciate it. I would love to hype it up for you more, give you support on the site, but hopefully you appreciate the honest evaluation, too. D-Man is Wiener. Great name. I hope you come back more often, too. It's got to be the first time you've been here because I would have chuckled every time I seen it. So hopefully you sub and come back. We really, really appreciate your support, man. Avery Chapman. Hey, man. Hey, what's going on? Who should I start at flex full PPR? Mattison, Judy, or Jake Ferg? Ooh. Okay. This is becoming the year. Me and CJ have often said it, like, we don't like going double tight end. It's not our thing. This year, though, when you have one of those top 6 guys, it makes sense. And Ferguson's knocking on the door of that, like, top 8. You know, he's really become an 80% route, like, steady. He's Dalton Schultz. It's Dalton Schultz for Dak again. And with this offense cooking, like, it's kind of where I lean. I don't love Judy. Mattison, you're waiting until tonight. What if he doesn't play? Do you have a backup plan? What is it if you do? So I'm leaning Ferg. You know, Carolina's on a great matchup. They're much easier to run on, but Ferg's getting it done. I'm going Jake. Double tight end, baby. Mike Clay, Dotson, Quentin J, or Jaden Reed. Don't love any of them. Probably leaning Dotson here. Like the most likely to get you an absolute donut. Nothing worse than you click and it's 1 target, 0 yards. You know, I get that. Reed's only playing about 50% of snaps these days. Yeah, but I mean, you guys get the Chargers this week, a great spot. I'm going to flip that. I'm going to go Jaden Reed, even though it is more of a part-time role here. I just feel like he's even in a part-time role steadier than Dotson. That's tough, Mike. Tough. Jeff Cooperman. Who'd you rather have, Kyler or Justin Fields? I think Kyler. The playoff schedule's glorious. He looked really good coming back from that game. Yeah, it's close. I mean, Fields obviously has the upside, but I like the schedule for Kyler. Week 16, 17, no quarterback is better matchups. Jeffrey. Bryce Ridley. Full PPR. I should note that too, Jeff. Sorry to go to you. I'll be right with you, Bryce. But I want to note that if you guys need some playoff analysis, I know trade deadlines, a lot of them passed in Yahoo last night, but if you still have the ability to trade, ESPN I know is another week or 2 away. Sleepers, hit or miss. We did a huge series. It was kind of the focus of this week. We really committed to strength of schedule analysis. I couldn't recommend the pieces that our writers churned out. You know, I kind of edited and oversaw it all, but they did amazing work in terms of rest of season. You know, who could you need to win now if you're trying to trade, and also fantasy playoff analysis. And then I also kind of summarized everything they all did too in a top 10 guys to trade for in your fantasy playoffs. I think it's some of the best content we've ever put out. I would highly recommend at rotostreetjournal.com. Go through all those pieces if you still have trades available, or if you just want to evaluate your team, like how is my playoff schedules looking for my team, for my roster. It's some of the best content we've ever done. I'm very proud of the writers and the stuff we put out there. So I did want to pump it out. You know what? We have 50 to 60 of you here. Check out rotostreetjournal.com for all our content, but especially, my rankings and stuff is great. That strength of schedule, the trade advice, we really deep dove. And I think that's often the difference between a title and, a second place finish, right? Is having those week 17 right matchups, preparing for week 16. If you have that luxury, or if you need to make the dance, knowing who you got to go and get now, like Josh Jobs. I did a whole show on it as well. If you prefer audio, I did on Wednesday. I kind of ran through an overview of it all. It doesn't go nearly the depth of the articles do, so maybe both of them at once. But it's some of the better content I think we've done since the site started, and I think it's some of the more important content that not a lot of people do. So we made it a big point, and I just wanted to shout out our writers and the project in general. I thought it came out phenomenal. So check that stuff out. I think it can really help you out. All righty, Bryce, back to that. And Hennings is from Somerset, England. I thought you were from Somerset. There you go. Bryce Ridley. Let's see what we got for you. Full PPR, Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker. Yeah, both guys I don't love. That I should love, right? It's Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker. Yeah, running back one's not really for me. I lean Kent. I love that the usage is trending the right way for Aaron Jones. I like this type of matchup. It does have the vibes of like Aaron Jones' back week, but I don't know. My eyeball test, I don't think he's looked like Aaron Jones these last few weeks. And so I lean Walker. I have him 18. I have Aaron Jones 21. The Rams is like an okay-ish matchup. It feels like a better spot to me. I'd rather go Walker, even with Charbonnet, outsnapping him 3 weeks in a row. The usage trends aren't great. And after this week, Walker's schedule is horrendous. If you talk about those articles, he's one of my sell highs as much as you could right now. RB6 in fantasy, huge touchdown last week. His value is still pretty solid in most people's eyes, I imagine. That schedule coming up, the sneaky underlying usage of Charbonnet right now, I don't love holding on to Walker right now. But I would start him this week over Aaron Jones. Singletary or James Ford? Definitely Singletary for me. I love Jimmy Ford. I'm a big fan, but I love Singletary. A fringe top 10 guy this week. Cooperman. McBride over Laporta. Ooh, I like McBride more this week. And I think your assessment is very fair there. They run more. They're going to try to run down the throat of the Bears, and I don't think they're going to have much trouble doing so. So I agree with you completely, Cooperman. I would go McBride over Laporta. Yes, I have them 5 and 6. I love them both, but yeah, I agree completely. Campanelli, half PPR, wide receiver 3, pick one. Cooks, I really actually like this week. I go Cooks over Deontay. Yeah, Quentin Johnson not in the conversation for me yet. I know he scored his first touchdown. I kind of still stashing him, but he just doesn't look great. He's so good after the catch. If they can just use him in that role, I still have faith. I'm still holding out hope for him. So I do like stashing him, but as quickly as he scored last, I could totally see him just abandoning you. So to me, I like Cooks there. That offense is just rolling the right way. In 3 of his last 4, he's been a top 15 guy. I like Cooks. Yeah. Oh, I want to get the flex for you. Sorry, Campanelli. Let me get back there. I'm going James Cook over Ty Chandler, especially with these questions that we might have Mattison back. Yeah, go Cook in a good matchup. Nicola, good morning. Good to see you. Pick 3. And congrats to HC yesterday, by the way. I do want to ask, I know Brian might know better because I know he's like a diehard. And you are too. So, probably through. I was wondering, I saw they posted like Patriot League champions. This is my alma mater, Holy Cross here. But they have the same record as, what is it, Lehigh? And they lost the tiebreaker. So wouldn't that make Lehigh? Is it Lehigh or Lafayette? One of those two beat us earlier in the year. Yet they're still saying they're Patriot League's champions because they have the same conference record. Feel like tiebreakers don't work that way, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's split in 2. I don't know. So if you know or Brian knows, let me know for sure. Pick 3 to play this week in half PPR: Walker, Rice, Hopkins, Dave Montgomery. I would go Montgomery. It's not a tough matchup with Chicago. They're a top 15 matchup for sure. They've been better lately. We got revenge game. We got, again, the fact that he even came out and said, like, yeah, Gibbs, I was supposed to sub in for him, but Gibbs got us down there. I told him, you get this touchdown this time. I get that. What's going on with the coaches? Are they not able to override that? I don't know. But ultimately, I don't think that was a signaling that Montgomery's just not going to get touchdowns anymore. It does show that, like, yeah, Gibbs earns his way down there, or the drive's just going. You don't want to sub things in and out. Yeah, Gibbs, his upside went up for sure. I love Gibbs. He's my running back 4, rest of the season big board. Like, I get it. I love him. But Montgomery, especially against Chicago, Dan Campbell's that type of guy. Let's get our guy in. Let's pound him into the end zone. Let's get him multiple touchdowns here. So I like Montgomery there. And then of the others, I do like Hopkins. I know it's been rough. I know Will Levis hasn't been amazing. But I'm leaning Hopkins, Montgomery, and I think Ken Walker. I do love the matchup for Rashee Rice against Philly, but to me, he just feels like a kind of tier or two away from these other options until I see him in a near full-time role. He hasn't played more than 65% of snaps all year. He's trending backwards the last couple weeks. So it's a great matchup, but I like the other three better. And I like Montgomery the most. So Nikolai, I would not be nervous about him today. Brandon Jacobs, the big back from the Giants, baby. I loved him. You guys know I have an affinity for humongous running backs. So Brandon Jacobs was somebody that made it move for me quite a bit. Welcome to the show. Big fan of yours. I'm glad you're a fan of mine too. Got off for D. Smith and Jay Connor for Cup and Algier. I like the move. I do. I particularly like the move if I see you can't. I like the move if so. Algier's a useless throwing at this point. He's handcuffed, and if something happened to Bijan, he'd be good. But let's call it what it is. It's essentially Smith and Connor for Cup. If you have the depth to pull that off, I like it. I would say with caution because Cup just hasn't necessarily been Cup since returning. He had his first couple games like, oh, he's back to his usage, but he was getting the usage and not looking as explosive as he had. And it reminds me a bit of Tony Pollard. And what do they have in common? It's this tightrope surgery. I'm no doctor, no conspiracy theorist, but there's a lot of people out there that are smarter than me talking a lot about maybe this tightrope surgery on the ankle. Yeah, it gets you back on the field faster, but are there some damaging long-term effects to your efficiency, your effectiveness, your explosiveness? And so far, the eyeball test-wise for both Pollard, certainly, and Cup early on, it hasn't been great. Now, is the volume potentially there for Cup? Yeah, could he just be Cooper Cup and cheat code again? Absolutely. The schedule's not bad down the stretch either. And Stafford, I feel better about it because Stafford's healthy. But you would have to have good enough depth that like one of Connor and Smith probably aren't in your lineup every week. Or the next man up, even if they both are, isn't too far off from those guys. Because it is just straight up Smith and Connor for Cup, which I think I like. But there's some risk. And you'd have to have the depth to make sure you can really weather if this isn't Cup, what do we do from here? But I like that type of upside play. Now, I know we got a super chat. Campanelli popped in. So let me dive on down to that. As always, you can cut the line with your super chats. And it is 9:17. So I'm going to be going for another 45 minutes or so. I should be able to get through most of these questions. We've got a good loaded mailbag. I love to see it. And again, a lot of new names here. Thank you so much for supporting us, spending your Sunday morning with me. Let's dive in. Stroud or Mahomes for RJ Bacani. So, great question. I love that this is a question that it goes to show you understand that Stroud is playing at an insane level. I think a lot of weeks to stretch here, my answer is probably going to be Stroud. This week, Monday Night Football. A Philly team giving up the third most points, the most passing yards in the league to quarterbacks. This is Mahomes out of a bye too. Andy Reid, right? Like he's my number one quarterback this week is what I'm all getting to. Andy Reid out of a bye never loses. He comes out with new wrinkles that just go crazy. He's getting an Eagles team that's a great matchup. This has the Monday night feel. I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was in Mexico City where it was the Rams versus the Chiefs, and it was just one of those games that I'll never forget. I think the score was like 50 to 47. I don't even remember, but it was almost 100 total points, right? And there was just fantasy magic all over the place, and all my matchups either got won or lost in that game, and you love that. I mean, it's crazy. That's what you play the game for. It's nuts. So I have a feeling that this Monday could really be like that. I think the Eagles out of a bye, the Chiefs out of a bye, two heavyweights right now. I'm going Mahomes this week. Now, most weeks, RJ, for the rest of the season, Mahomes' schedule does not look amazing, and Stroud's got a couple nice cream puffs coming up. So this is a great question. I hope you come back week to week and we reevaluate this situation. But this week, it's Mahomes for me. My top quarterback, and just hell yeah, let's fire up that game. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Another super chat coming on in. Mr. Foster, consistently supporting your guys over here. I appreciate it, man. I know I haven't been great about responding to the DMs this year. I think I'm going to set up a Patreon or something, maybe even for the last month of the season here. It just becomes it's such a busy year. We got so many projects and this great, exciting stuff. I haven't been good, and you consistently come in and still support me, and I really do appreciate it. I want to get to a spot where I can constantly get to your DMs. Thank you, man, for continuing to support your boy here. Top of the morning to you as well. Full PPR, need 2 of 3 between Dotson, Gabe Davis, and Christian Watson. Hey, you summarize. I wasn't going to summarize it quite as eloquently as Lee. Basically, do I want to be punched in the face or the balls? Oh, man, that's funny shit. It's kind of true, too, huh? Man, this is tough. It's all boom, bust, crazy. What the hell do we do? You're going to play 2. One of them's going to go off. It's going to be the one you bench. I wish I could give you a clearer, stronger take here. I guess I go Gabe Davis. New offensive coordinator coming out. Get the Jets. Not a good match. Worst matchup for wide receivers. Probably going to get erased. Watson in the best matchup, but he has a Jordan freaking Love, and it hasn't been good. I cut him everywhere I had him. So you know what? But I'll tell you this, Omar. I cut Christian Watson everywhere I had him. It's only fitting that he goes bananas this week. I know it's going to happen. It happens every time I do this. It was Corey Davis years ago. Constantly, give me the blue balls, tugging me along, stringing me along, teasing me. And then I finally got rid of him because I couldn't deal with the fantasy tease. And somebody picked him up and started against me, right? And then he goes for 25. That's what Christian Watson's going to do today. So I probably go Dotson. And honestly, I probably go Watson. I probably go Dotson. I mean, no corners on that team scare me right now. 2 of his last 3 have been really useful. That team is chucking the rock out of it. I'm going to probably have to adjust my rankings because I worry Davis gets completely eliminated. I think I'm going to bench Davis here. But like you said, you're going to bench Davis. You know how that experience goes. I'm sure you've seen that graph on Twitter where it's like when his percent started is high, he gets nothing. When his percent started is low, he goes for 25 and makes you want to play him again. And it's just putting the clown makeup on, spreading the legs and saying, who's going to punch me today? I just hope you only get punched in one of the balls or face, and that's up to you which one you prefer. I'm probably going to go Dotson and Watson. I mean, you know how these options are. And I appreciate your super chat. I wish I could have something firmer for you. I think with a Dory Jackson out, that might put Dotson over the edge a little bit there. And matchup-wise and analysis-wise, it is Watson today. Like that, this everything on paper in terms of the volume has been there, it just hasn't connected. If there's a week where they do finally connect against the defense giving up the most points to receivers and quarterbacks and big plays and everything, it should be Watson today. And if it's not this weekend, then my God, please cut him. And again, you have going for you the fact that I cut him, and that means he's going to go off, right? So yeah, I think I'm actually going to go Watson and Dotson here. You get to say that too, Watson and Dotson, right? When you're looking for which way you want to get pummeled, find the fun ways, like ride. That's what we lean on here. That's what you pay for the big bucks for the analysis, right? I'm just double checking my rankings here, Omar, because I feel okay about those recommendations. I think I'm letting my personal biases with Christian Watson kind of get in my way that he's actually a pretty good play today. And I think Dotson as well is a pretty good play today. So I'm updating my rankings. I don't feel good about Gabe Davis. I am bumping him down below both those guys. Yeah, good luck. I love how you summarized it. It's absolutely perfect. And then Alex Correa. Morning. Good morning to you. Sit one. Eckler. No. Woo. Alex. Damn. I think earlier in the show, I said, if Achane is in, I play him. There's no questions. Stop asking, right? And then you come on with this, and I think I bet you Achane. This is insane. I'm not benching Eckler, a top 10 matchup, juicy spot for running backs. He's had 20 or more in 3 straight. You can't bench him. There's no way. I don't want to bench Gibbs, who is finally getting some goal line involvement. Bears are not a tough matchup. They should dominate them at home. He's my running back 6. Feel great about him. Travis Etienne, my running back 3. Tennessee has not been the run funnel. You can run on them this year. And they could get up big. They could bleed clock. I know last week was an absolute dud. But ultimately, and it was the first time he has been like below 72% of snaps in a long, long time here. But on the year, let me just double check the scoring here on your question. You didn't mention it, but on the year, before last week's dud, 32-20, 19-22 points. I think that's standard league too. So like we go to PPR and that's going to be even better, right? 36, 23, 22, 20, 26. Running back 1, 2, 4, and 5. I'm not going to have one dud against the 49ers really throw me off there where they're getting blown out. It wasn't a good game. So I can't get scared off him. So yeah, I guess you might have found the one situation where I bench Achane. If there's one person to consider Achane above, I think it's Gibbs. In case they just give all the touchdowns to Monty, revenge game narrative. Like, I could see that. I could see Gibbs getting capped here. And I really do have a hard time not playing Achane today. But man, after last week's Gibbs usage, again, like I said, he's my running back 4 rest of the season. I think he could still get in the end zone, and Monty could still have 3 touchdowns. Like, this could be a game where both backs score 25 plus. What a question. What a backfield. You know, are trades still available? Can you make? I don't even. Maybe you don't trade. That's just such good depth. Thank you so much for the support, Miguel Rutledge. Need a flex? JSN, Connor, Jay Cook, or Thielen? I would go. For me, I'm limiting this one down to Thielen versus Connor. No DeMarcado. Connor is in there for a lot of snaps, just not seeing the target share, but that could change at any given moment. He has been actually better without Murray than with him, which is weird, but it makes kind of sense when Murray runs in touchdowns. And, you know, mobile quarterbacks don't dink and dunk as much with the running back. They just run it for themselves. Thielen has obviously been elite, insane all year. But lately, trending the wrong way. I hate Bryce Young. I hate the Cowboys matchup. I'm leaning Connor as the safe play here. I want a Thielen rebound so bad, and yet I'm not convinced it happens this week. So I'm going to go Connor there. Miguel, thank you so much for the support. RJ, double support, and thank you so much today. Very generous of you today. One more. Devonta in a weather game or Kirk? Ooh, good question. I have these guys ranked neck and neck here. I'm guessing you mean Devonta Smith. I don't know who else that would be. And I don't factor weather into that one as much as the fact that the Chiefs are really good against receivers and good in the secondary in general. And yet, no Goddard. Target share should be high for Devonta Smith. If this game does have that shootout style feel, I like that for him. But then you got Kirk facing Tennessee. And on paper, great matchup. They're actually much more generous to outside receivers, number 2 in terms of points to outside receivers, 6 fewest points out of slot. But Kirk does move around. He gets outside. It's a bad secondary. He is so steady and safe. I lean Kirk. I really like Devonta Smith. I see why this is a tough question for you. There's a lot to weigh through. I would probably, though, go Christian Kirk there. Thank you guys again. Very generous today with your super chats. I feel like that cleans them all up at this point. Looking through our chat, Campanelli, it looks like that is the case. Thank you, double super chats. Again, if you want to cut the line, that's the way to do it. So please do continue to support your boys. It really does. Again, it goes such a long way. I don't mean to, I'm of course going to answer everybody else's questions too, but I'll slow down, go in depth, make sure that you have everything you need to move forward with your decision the right way there. And it is now 9:30. So 30 more minutes. Great mailbag, 70 a year. If you can't super totally get it, but a free way to help your boy is that thumbs up button. Like, shares, retweets. Got 70 a year today. Awesome. Love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. Going to go live for 30 more minutes of questions. I will do a rapid fire at 9:45, so about 15 more minutes. During the rapid fire, I still will slow down for super chats, of course. Oh, I'm a slut like that. But ultimately, I'm going to go like bang, 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 bang to try to get through as many as I can in about 15 minutes. I should get through them all, but this is a good mailbag. There's a lot of you here. So I cannot promise it. And that's amazing. It's such exciting news. Thank you guys so much for your support and so many great questions here. Let's continue forward. Brandon Jacobs, the big running back, we already got to that one, so I got to find my place again. Jeffrey Cooperman, Kincaid, and Jay Cook for Pollard and Kyler Murray. It depends who your tight end is. I mean, if you don't have a good tight end, no, I would not do this. And I don't love Pollard. I don't want to. I get the schedule looks great, and maybe you buy him at the right time, you get him low, but I don't do that. Stroud or Fields, Mr. Wolf. Roth Tiberius Kane, good to see you. And Stroud, always Stroud for me, for the most part, unless it's Mahomes, who somebody else super chatted earlier. Hey, Kelly, thank you for the double hands. Levi, thank you for the prayers, the thank yous. Full PPR for my Wolf, Ronnie Daniel. Okay, I can't scroll back and find it, but I doubt it's going to change my answer. And then we had Roth. I don't know if he's Charb and maybe not. You probably answered some questions. So I love that. Interact with each other. I'm going to kind of go back to the questions here. Godwin or Lockett or JSN. So if Lockett was out, I would go JSN. And if Lockett's in, I go Lockett. I would not play Godwin over those guys. Facing Lamb and Reek need PPR upside. Yeah, you do need some upside. Damn. So I'll find that one in a second. It's the next question up, Fatty, but good context to have. Need one, G. Wilson, D. Johnson, or Hollywood Brown. I like Garrett Wilson there. He is 6th highest target share of the year. I get Zach Wilson. He sucks. It's not the best of matchups against this Bill secondary, but they've been getting injuries throughout the entire defense. So I lean there. I do like Hollywood Brown a lot. We've talked about him a lot as a buy low. Wide receiver 7 in points per game with Kyler Murray and no D-Hop last year. Wide receiver 5 in targets per game. That's coming. And it's not a brutal matchup here against Houston. His playoff schedule is amazing. I like Garrett Wilson just a little more than Hollywood on this one, Andy. All right, so we need upside for Fatty Mateo, and you need 3 PPR. Puka, Garrett, Tank, McBride, Thielen, DK. Whew. I like Tank the most at wide receiver. And again, you need upside. I got to go Puka. How many big days have we seen out of him in full PPR? I don't love Thielen today. I don't. We've seen monsters, but I don't love him today. DK obviously always has hypothetical upside, especially if Lockett sits, but we haven't seen that come to fruition. His schedule, by the way, down the stretch, nobody's better than that. McBride, though. I honestly go McBride, Tank, and Puka. 20 points out of McBride. The floor is definitely lower with McBride. It's much more likely a tight end just kind of disappears. But Houston is such a generous team to tight ends. He is 20-plus points in 2 of his last 3. Rolling the right way. Got it done with Murray in his first game back. I love McBride today. Absolutely. I'm going Tank, Puka, and McBride in there, Fatty. Hurts or Stroud? Oh, man. Again, there's only Stroud's my quarterback 3 this week. I'm plus 3 ECR in him. The only 2 guys I have above him, Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in that shootout game. So it happens. I'm going Hurts there. I'm going Hurts. Flex, Pacheco, Rice, Ridley, or White. I would go Rashad White there, Luke, especially if you get PPR points. Puka or Mostert? Hero, good one. That's a very good one. I'm going Puka, I think, especially in a full PPR. The context of the questions really does help. In a standard league, it'd be Mostert, no brainer, right? Assuming it's half or especially full PPR, it's probably Puka for me. Yeah. And I did want to pump up I was talking about Marquise Brown as a buy low. I just want to pump one last time for anybody that's gotten here a little bit later. The strength of schedule series that we pumped out here at rotostreetjournal.com, where our home base is. Check it out for everything, making all that. But the strength of schedule series in particular, some of the best content I think we've done. Whether you have trade deadline, it hasn't hit yet, or whether you just want to check your own roster. Do I have the guys that could get it done for me down the stretch? We got playoff strength of schedule, rest of season strength of schedule, top 10 playoff buys. It's one of the best series I think we've ever done. Very proud of it, and I think everybody should go out and check it out. I also tweeted a summary of it all at Rose Street Wolf as well. If you just prefer a nice thread, it's pinned to the top there. So I want to give one last pump out there. 70 here too. Again, thumbs up, subs. So many new names. This is so exciting, Wolfpack. It's awesome. And just like Thursday, a lot of new names too. A lot of guys coming back to us. It's amazing. Would love to have you continue to come back to us. If you don't mind hitting that sub button, you like what we're doing. Don't mind. Obviously, if you don't like what we're doing, don't. But if you enjoy this vibe, we're always here answering your questions. Would love to continue to grow. This is such an awesome show to have 70 of you here. The thumbs up will really help us out. But of course, continue to grow those sub numbers. This is what really big goal. We really want to hit 4K. And a lot of new names here. We'd really, really appreciate it if you consider helping us out with that as well as we try to mow through all these questions. Start 2. Quarter PPR. Interesting. Rice, Godwin, or Thielen. I would go Godwin and Thielen here, Jay. Pacheco or Connor this week. Man, that's a good one. I've just been sipping coffee all day. I need to get a little water here real quick too. I would go Connor though. No DeMarcado, should have a full slate of all the work. Good match against Houston. High scoring affair likely. I'm into that one. Kittle or Schultz? Ooh, I'm going to go Kittle there, William. Yeah, that's where I leave. Oh, okay, yay. Najee starting. Who cares? It's going to be a 55-45 split either way. AS. Good for you. It sounded like he was named the starter, but who knows? Super chat from Usman Butt. Let me find that one here. Thank you, Campanelli, moderating over there. So good way to cut the line again and support your guy is that super chat. PPR, Ford or Chandler, flex running back. I'm going, so I'm guessing this is 2 different leagues here because I would rank them. Achane is my clear favorite, definitely over Barkley. And I like Barkley. This is one of the few matchups he has left on the docket that I can get Barkley in there with confidence. even with Tommy DeVito. I'd like to play Barkley today, but I'd rather have Achane, Barkley, then Ford, then Chandler. I would definitely go Ford over Chandler if that's like a different league there. Usman Butt. I love the super chat names today. Awesome. I would go Ford over Chandler just with the questions of Mattison. Ford, I imagine they're going to pound the run game. He's been about a 65 to 70% snap player the last couple of weeks. 70% of the routes, 65% of the carries. I get Vulture, 3 months, a touchdown monster, right? But I really like Ford's usage. I like the matchup. I think they're going to hammer the running back today. So give me Ford there. And then in the other one, I go Achane over Barkley. But if you could go Achane, Barkley, Ford, that's how I would go. Ty Chandler is the distant fourth for me. I really like the Denver matchup, but with the questions on Mattison, that just kind of throws it off for me. Thank you again so much for the super chat as well. Let me now find our spot again. We do have a loaded mailbag, so I might even fire up the rapid fire a little early today to try to hit as many of these as we can. 73 of you in here, so I do want to make sure I try to get to as many of these as we can. So we're going to go rapid fire 10 minutes early, but I see how loaded this mailbag is. Almost 80 of you here. One last call again, that thumbs up button. It really does help us out. And so many new names. Please do consider subscribing. I'm going to try to get through all these questions before 10 o'clock because I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. You have all the other options on your Sunday morning. You chose to be here. I love this 8 to 10 a.m. too. It's definitely clearly working out. So we're rest of the season, 8 to 10 a.m. Let's roll. I'm going Kittle over Schultz, William. We're back to that douchebag. DK or Devonta Smith. I'm going to go Devonta Smith, Anthony Rosenberg. Peter Santiago, Dobbs or Fields? I'm going Dobbs. I love Fields today, too. I talked to him earlier in the show. If you want a bigger breakdown, rewind quarterback news. But I do like him. I still love Dobbs, 25 points in 3 straight games. Laporta, McBride, or DJ Moore. Ooh. I think we're still going McBride, baby. It's the player of the day. Kincaid or McBride? Oh, man. I think in that one I'd go Kincaid, actually, the way he's been rolling. Eckler. Etienne, Gibbs. Oh, you super chatted this one earlier, and I think I said this is the one time I would ever bench Achane. I got Cup at flex, so can't start both. What that's related to. Should I start Singletary or Jay over Jay Warren? Yes, absolutely, Demetrius. I think Singletary is it's all 10 spots above him. Juan Osorio, Ty Chandler, McKinnon. I'd go Chandler in that case. This is a type of McKinnon game though, where it's like a shootout game, lots of points. They're going to need him. Kind of the kid's a good little stash here. We've seen that stretch run where they really need him. These are the type of games he does well. But all that to say, best matchup you can possibly ask for Chandler, especially if Mattison is out. But even if he's in, I still probably go him. Careful starting White today. San Fran, yeah, they nulled Etienne. I get it, Roth. I'm with you. A little bit lower on ECR than White today. What's the one food you haven't tried yet, but you want to? For me, it's cod. Oh, yeah, I love cod way over salmon. I'm not a salmon guy myself, so we're a little different there, Cod. I know we usually have some good food tastes. That's a really good question. And in the rapid fire, I can't think of something right off the top of my head. I love meats, though, so I'm always intrigued to try, like, exotic meat. So I'm trying to think of, like, an exotic meat I've never tried. I'll come up with something soon. But, yeah, I love cod. So I would absolutely, like, a baked cod, baked haddock. Have you ever had haddock, Krana? So freaking good. I like whitefish, though, with, like, a little cracker crumbs on it. So that's my thing. Flex one. Should I have White as my running back, too, or swap him for Achane? Definitely. And I would – with no Jefferson, I'd probably go Addison over White. It's a tough matchup for White this week, but I'm definitely going Achane. No doubt about that. And Herbert or Purdy, got to go Herbert, and I love Purdy today. I really do, but, I mean, Herbert, come on now. And then Deontay or Warren, flex PPR. I would go Warren there, and I would go Mostert in the flex over Rice. Lex plant some trees. Great to see you every single week. Warren, Deontay, Christian Watson. Start one. I'm going to go Jalen Warren there. Lex plant some trees. Christian Watson, Judy, Khalil Herbert, sit one. I'm going to sit Khalil there. Just such a conundrum of a backfield. Foreman's look so good. Fields is back. Vulture potential. Yeah, that gets tricky. Godwin, Rice, or Thielen need 2 standard. I would go Thielen, and I would go, I think, Rice in the standard. Better touchdown equity there. Lupus, would you start Addison or Cortland? Oh, that's a good one. I go Addison, I think, but I love Cortland too, so that's a really good question. D-Man is Wiener. Oh, yeah, we already got that one earlier. And then we got Levi C coming with a super chat, so slow down. I do the rapid fire, but then super chats, we'll pause. We'll give you your attention. If you're willing to support us to that level, we will take our time for you. Levi C, James Cook or Jerome Ford? Ooh, that's a good one. I wonder, is Lenny activated? I don't know if we've gotten any word yet, because that would change things for me. I do think I'm going Jerome Ford here, unless Lenny's activated and it's sketchy. Just again to kind of point out, like, Ford has become the clear RB1A. I get it. His ceiling is capped because Hunt's a great touchdown scorer and he's the goal line guy. He's the vulture. But we've got 10, 16, 4. That was when he got hurt against Seattle, by the way. 10, 16, 4, 10, 11. Like, the ceiling, not amazing in half PPR for Jerome Ford. But the volume, I mean, 20 and 17 carries the last couple of weeks. The 67 for the routes. You could get maybe dump offs for the quarterback, the new quarterback today. I get that the new quarterback could cap his ceiling. Pittsburgh, though, a top 12 potential spot for running backs, and even maybe the new quarterback makes them that much more run heavy. We get 25 carries for Ford, who we've seen break long ones plenty of times. I like the player. I love the scheme. I think they're going to be run heavy. The matchup's not bad. So I'm leaning Ford there, especially if Lenny's activated. But even if not, I still think I like that. And Campanelli pointing out that we do not have anything on Lenny. But Levi, I'm going to go Jerome Ford there. Thank you so much for the super chat. It is so greatly appreciated. And again, if anybody else wants to cut the line, that's the way we do it. And that's how we'll kind of slow down and really consider the full scope of your questions. Alrighty. So we are off at, we were at you. So yeah, you do have the wide receiver. Oh, so you're explaining your trade, D-Man is Wiener. So I get it. You have the depth. I get that. I think you could have played the depth better. I think I would have traded like Mahomes and Cobb and gotten the number one receiver, Tyreek or I don't know. You have a great team though. Kudos to you, and you did upgrade a starting spot. So I get why you did the move. Cruton, Gabe Davis or Trey McBride? I definitely Trey McBride, no doubt about that already. Tough matchup, way too boomer bust. Trey McBride for sure. I'm going to Trey McBride for some really good names, so certainly going to do it over Gabe Davis's boomer bust ass. Alrighty, Freiermuth or Parham this week? I would go Parham this week. I think Freiermuth rest of the season, everyone smash that like button. 85 a year. This might be record numbers here. Wolfpack, so great to have so many here. Please do. Again, it's so helpful. The reason we have so many numbers is because you guys have been so generous in terms of hitting that thumbs up button. But over here, there's got to be a bunch of new names that I'm recognizing, so many new ones, a bunch of great repeats. We love you guys just as much, if not more. You choose to be here, come back, the best. But a lot of you come back because you subbed, and we'd love to have more and more of you continue to sub. It's just kind of like a snowball. It keeps growing that way, and it gets bigger and bigger the more and more you guys sub and support your guys. We can buy more equipment, and I'm in my fucking kitchen right now. Like, I would love to have a good camera. You guys can make that possible. So thank you so much. It's as easy as hitting that sub and hitting that smash like button. Coach Zeke, struggling with injuries. Need one PPR. Flex with Guyton and Mike Wilson not playing. Have to pick someone up. Should I start Royce, Kyle, Phil? Oh, boy. Coach Zeke, love you. I know you're always here. I think I'd go Royce. The way that the Seahawks are getting pummeled on the ground, the fact that he had some goal line usage last week, I like him the most here. Waddle plays Waddle has a brutal schedule. I agree. Like, I don't love. I think some of you guys are like interacting with each other. Not Trey Palmer. Yeah, I go Royce Freeman there. Kiefer, who should I sit? Devontae. You could also consider Donald Parham, by the way. Coach Zeke, when you're that desperate. I see you, Campanelli. We'll get that super chat in 1 sec, but I already have this one pulled up. Kiefer Cole, who should I sit? Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk, Mike Evans, or Robinson? Not Rob. I'm all in on Robinson today. Love him. I would take Kirk here, and I like Kirk a lot, but they're sneaky good against the slot. The Titans are much more generous outside receivers, so that's where I lean. Ukana Matata, 69. Yeah, 69. Ukana Matata, what a tasty treat. Goff or Dak? Oh man, what a question. It's one of those things like, how do you bench Dak after QB1, QB2, QB1, QB3, top 3 finishes in 4 straight games? It's almost impossible to bench Dak, and yet, right? Chicago at home, second most points allowed, 2 quarterbacks on the year. Goff at home, averaging nearly 25 points a game against when he's not only a home but a home favorite, averaging nearly 27 points a game. Like, this is the Goff script. Home, huge favorites. I actually have him above. I have Goff above Dak, and I don't know how I feel about that. I know Dak has been a cheat code. Carolina's just been like good against wide receivers this year. So I'm going
Hey.
I think I'm going Tua. CJ, get out of here. We're in the middle of rapid fire. I'll pull you in at the end. But we cannot deal with your hungover ass right now. Once the rapid fire bullets stop firing, I'll pull you in. But we got a lot to get through here. 85 people and about like 300 freaking questions. So I saw your text on the couch. I told you get the day off today. I knew what you're getting into last night. So I'm going to just get back onto the rapid fire train there. But yeah, I'm going. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to just not answer the other part of your questions there too. Thanks again for the super chat, Kuna Matata 69. I'm gonna go Goff. I do have Goff higher, and it scares the shit out of me to not play Dak here. Addison, Wilson, or D Smith. I'm gonna go D Smith there. In the flex. No, I'm going Garrett Wilson. I'm taking that back. Just the target shares have been so good. The Bills are banged up. I hate Zach Wilson. I am a Garrett Wilson owner myself. Maybe I have a little bias here, but the targets have just been too damn good for him. All right, we'll pack 15 more minutes of rapid fire action. If you want a guaranteed answer, if you want me to slow down and give you some analysis instead of just the names, then the super chat's the only way to do that, because we are just plowing through here this massive mailbag, trying to get as many of these as we can before we run out of time. 15 more minutes here. Out of Brees, Jacobs, Walker, and Javonte, start 2. I'm going to go, wow, great options, Matt. I'm not going to go Walker. So it comes down to Brees, Jacobs, and Javonte. I think I like Brees and Jacobs the most, and I love Javonte. I really do. Vikings have been sneaky pretty good against the run, and just in general, like a much better defense this year. So yeah, I'm gonna go Brees and Jacobs for that one. Decent matchups for them. Similar, Jacobs is an absolute target hog, usage monster. So I'm gonna go Brees and Jacobs there. Pick 4 for Chris Starchild. So we got to bench one of these. Puka, Moore, Ridley, JSN, Dell. Definitely playing Puka, Moore, and Dell. So it comes down to Ridley or JSN. And unless Lockett's ruled out, I like Ridley with that great matchup. Outside receiver, second most points allowed. Great coverage shells for him. I know he's been a bust throughout the year, but it just feels like a smash spot. Chris Starchild. Matt Felton, wide receiver 2 and flex out of Ayuk, Evans, Garrett Wilson. Or would you flex another running back? Can't make up my mind. I would go Ayuk here. Love the smash spot against the Bucs. Love Purdy. Love the 49ers passing game. I'm going to go Ayuk. Pick 1, Herbert, Najee. I would go Najee over either Herbert. And also Kincaid or McBride. I'm going Kincaid tight end 4, tight end 5. McBride I've said many, many times today. But I'm going to go Najee, and I'm going to go Kincaid there. And I would go Addison over Rice. Ronnie Daniel, Achan. Too much going on there. Can't answer that one, Ronnie. It's rapid fire time. Stressing this one, man. I'm favored in my matchup, so should I go Singletary over Tank? So Giuseppe, back on that one. Favorite in the matchup, I go Singletary. I love Tank too, but I think Singletary is guaranteed for that 14 to 15. Kincaid or Laporta, I'm going Kincaid. I had that choice myself, and I'm going Kincaid. PPR, James Cook or Jerome Ford. Levi, I see you eventually super chatted that, and we said Jerome Ford. Few start, sit, full PPR, start 1 full flex for Dylan Fink. Hollywood or McBride, I'm going McBride. Start 1 running back, 1 flex. Connor, definitely HN, definitely Waddle there. And 1 QB, 1 running back, 1 flex. I'm going Stroud over Fields. I'm going Singletary, and I'm going Waddle for the other ones, Dylan Fink. Dustin Poole, D. Adam Smith, Dell, and Rice, Ken Walker. Need 2 receivers. I'm going Tank Dell, and I'm going Devontae Adams. And then I'm going to flex Devonta Smith over Ken Walker, especially with the full PPR settings. I still like the Ravens to contend, but yeah, it definitely takes a big hit there for sure. Good morning. Sit 1. Oh, Alex, you super chatted that early after that. So as I said, it was the one time I would sit HN today was those 4 running backs. Thomas Radke, half PPR. Sit 1. HN, Aaron Jones, or Robinson. I'm sitting Aaron Jones, Radke. Love HN and Robinson today. Picked up NDD for rest of the season. Good move, you think? Not many options. Rest of season defenses, Giuseppe, no, I'm not fucking analyzing that right now. Like it's a stream every single week. They have okay matchups, though. I have seen that. Started Michael Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, it was hype. I get it. Back-to-back games with huge runs. Yeah, you still might win. I get that, though. Warren's definitely the safer play, but it's a tough matchup against Cleveland. Like, it's not even a guarantee yet. Warren will probably outscore him, though. There's no doubt about it, but I don't think it's going to kill you. Kaka Dodd. DK, Waddle, Saquon, Javonte. Sit 2 or start 2, your choice. I would go Javonte, and I would go, I think Waddle over Saquon there, but it's close. DK is my 4th option there. Kyler or Fields. I would go Kyler over Fields. We got about 10 minutes again, Wolfpack. Jordan Love or Geno Smith. I go Geno, I think. Ford or Ty Chandler. The only reason that's a common question is because of how bad the Chargers are, but I still don't trust Jordan Love. Ford or Ty Chandler, definitely Ford. Usman, I think you super chatted that afterwards as well. Hey guys, got offered Fields, McBride, Waddle for we did a whole trade show, K-Dub. I don't have time for trades right now. I apologize. That would have been earlier in the show, or I wish you had caught us earlier in the week. But check the trade articles out. Again, I think it's some of the best stuff we've done on the website, trade value charts, and then the rest of the season rankings. And then, of course, the playoff strength of schedule stuff that we did this week. I'm very proud of some of the work our writers did. It's phenomenal. Ford or Ty Chandler. Oh, we already super chatted that again. Stop the repeat. You're going to go in timeout, but you already super chatted, so I won't put you in timeout, Usman. Tunenberg, 2. Henderson, Dobbs, Judy, Spears, full PPR. I would go Henderson and Dobbs there. I'm just not a Judy guy, never have been, and Spears is so boomer bust. Tua or Howell, I'm going Tua there. Good morning, Joey. Tough one. Can you help? 2 running backs, Achane, Barkley, Connor, Jones. I'm going to go oh, man, this is a tough one. I would go – I love Robinson. I love Montgomery. I love Achane. I have all 3 of those guys well above the other 3, so we can cross those other 3 off. I think I'm going to go Achane and Montgomery in the revenge game, but, man, do I love Robinson today. I think Robinson absolutely smashes the Giants. Again, most points per target, and now no Gibson is a smash. It's an absolute – somehow, is there a flex? Can you get all 3 of them in? I'm obsessed with all 3 of those guys today, Joey. Tua or Dobbs, I would go Josh Dobbs. No, I'd do it there. And I'd go McBride over Kittle. Great team, though, Joey. Great team. Start Lockett, who is questionable but likely to play, or Amari Cooper. I would go Lockett as long as he's in, Gordon. Giuseppe Russo. Kickers are people, too. Do I go Dicker or Sanders? Dicker. Javonte Williams or Rashee Rice. Javonte Williams, for sure, Martin Sexton. And again, 9 minutes left, Wolfpack, 92 here. I saw 100. I think it's the first time we've cracked 100 without like an extra guest on here, like Harnitz or whoever, some of the big guys we've had. That's amazing that the show is now over 100. So that will give me one last plea for, again, that thumbs up button. That's the reason we're getting out to more people. So many new names here asking so many great questions. We'd love to have you keep coming back time and time again. Keep bumping the subs numbers up. We're trying to climb to 4K, and we're getting close. And we had a huge surge on Thursday, another big surge. It just feels like it's rolling, and we'd love to have that momentum continue. And you guys can really help us out. One last plea, too. If you do want to jump the line, a super chat, we will make sure to get over there for you. It looks like we do have one from Doug Fenton to cut the line. So we are going to pop over to Doug Fenton and get your super chat. I will slow down. So we might get to less of these questions, but we're always, those of you that are willing to support us financially, we are always willing to pop in. Doug, it looks like you didn't leave the question. I think our man Campanelli, though, in the mods has it. So let me go into the mods. Campanelli says nothing yet, but he's going to find it. So I'll keep my eyes peeled in the private super chat there. Doug, you're going to definitely get preference as soon as we find your question, but it's not currently attached right now. So you could re-ask it if you'd like as well. That could probably help us out as we hunt. But we're going to be on the lookout for your super chat. Thank you so much for the support there. So back up here, we were at I don't want to skip anybody out. And a lot of you guys are helping each other out, which I love to see. So, all right, Campanelli did say he's got the question too. So, and ultimately, it'd be helpful. CJ, one freaking useful thing you could actually do today is maybe check where we were in the comments before that. Maybe you can help me track where we were sitting. So it was need 2 receivers alongside Lamb. Yeah, you're not benching Lamb. Smith, Puka, Kirk, and Dell. So I would go. So this is Doug Fenton, 9:52 a.m. If you want to pull that one up, I would go Dell, and I would go Puka. Doug Fenton. These are great options. I totally see why this is a tough one. All top 20 guys for me. But again, it kind of comes down to that Christian Kirk, so steady, so consistent. But the Titans are better against the slot than they are outside. Second most points allowed to outside, 6th fewest to the slot. Kirk's probably still going to get his. I get it. He's awesome. But I lean Puka and I lean Dell there. And it does look like Giuseppe Russo has also super chatted us. And then I think we were at like 9:20 or so after that. So if you can help me find my spot after Giuseppe, that would be great. Maybe CJ will stay on with some of you guys afterwards, but I got to get out of here at 10. Gino or Russ. I would go, I think Geno today. I just never get rushed. I know he's doing well. I really do. But I can't get up behind it. I have such a bad taste after last year. I feel like he's going to implode at any given moment. They want to run the ball 100 times a game if they can. And this could be a week that they can pull that off against Minnesota. It's not a bad spot for Russ, though. But I just like Geno. As a pass funnel, I think that's where I am leaning there. All righty, so we were at Tunes. We got Joey, and we got the locker. So then we are at, right now, Spears or Michael Wilson for Tunes. Michael Wilson might not even play. So there you go. Wilson's officially out, so good to know, says Dwight Schrute for there. Giuseppe saying like and subscribe. Again, 75 of you here. Awesome. Start Lockett, who is questionable, but likely to play, Amari Cooper. Gordon, we're going Lockett there. Osborne or Rondale Moore, Dwight Schrute. I go Osborne there with no Jefferson. John Gonzalez, full PPR. Need a flex out of Dotson, Reed, or Cooks. I would go Cooks there. Brandon Cooks, I really like. Dak or Goff. I know you super chat that one. Full PPR flex, Rice or Watson. I would go Rice there. Family functions. And I meant to say guys. I said gay guys. I knew somebody would catch that one. Corey Albright picked up the Freudian slip there, where I said gay guys instead of just guys on the air. Tried to say guys. Who knows what prompted that one? What Wilson is out. So I don't know if that's official, but I know he's questionable. And that's what Schrute said. So what Dwight Schrute says, Dwight Schrute goes. D. Adams, D. Smith, T. Dell, and Rasheed Rice, Ken Walker. So I would go Dustin. I definitely go Mahomes over Stroud. And then I would go Tank Dell, Devontae Adams, and Devonta Smith as well there. Singletary or Connor. Going Singletary today, Sean Webster. I'm going Waddle over Metcalf, Sean Hales. I'm going, we already answered that one for you, Joey. Please don't repeat. We'll put you in timeout. It's a great question. We don't want people in timeout that have great questions, but don't repeat, please. Jalen Warren or Darrell Henderson. I'm going Warren there, despite the good matchup for Henderson. Wilson is out, re-aggravated. Sit one. I would sit JSN there. Another repeat. Please, guys, don't repeat. We have so many questions. Evans or Dell at Flex PPR. I would go Evans just slightly over Tank Dell. I love them both. Howell over Fields. I'd go Fields there, Zay. And I'm going to make sure my rankings reflect that because I don't think they currently do. When I sign off, I'm going to update that. Mattison or Ty Chandler this week. If both start, I'm going to go Mattison. Appreciate your time, man. Thank you for the help. Sure, Pernoin. Pick three. Puka, D. Adams, Jacobs, Ayuk, Dell. Oh, man, great options here. I would go Jacobs, Ayuk, and I think Dell over Puka and over Adams. I think that's where I'm leaning there. Pernin Owen. All righty. 3 more minutes. We'll pack till I got to sign out of here. Brees or Singletary. I'm going to go Brees very slightly over Singletary. Very close there. Singletary, Connor, Nico, or Cortland. I'm going to go Singletary, and I'm going to go Connor there. John. Joey with the repeats. I think I'm putting him in timeout at this point. Ford or Cook. I don't know if I can't believe you have the power to put people in timeout. I know it's a big power here, but I'm going to go Ford over Cook, as Dwight Schrute says. I agree. Kirk, Puka, Wilson, Dell, Ridley. Sit 2 for Jay Berg. I'm going to go sitting Ridley, and I love Garrett Wilson, but I think I'm sitting him out of those options. Josh Dobbs, Justin Fields. I'm going to go Dobbs there. Eric Richardson. Would you trade DJ Moore for Dak? I'd love that stack. But, yeah, I think I would, Ryan. But you already have Fields, so maybe you don't need to. It depends on your receiver depth, I guess. Pick 2 in standard. Brees Hall, Walker, Pollard, or Connor. I would go Brees Hall and Connor, I think, Mike Duke. Standard's tricky, but you're going to touch on. Pollard should be the guy. I don't know if I can go there. What's up, Maine? Good to see you, Cat City. Ahmed Hassan, Achan, Waddle. I'm definitely going Achan there, and I love them both. How do you feel about Ridley? Really sick of putting him in lineups. Addison, yeah, I'd go Addison over Ridley, even though Ridley, again, just want to emphasize, second most points allowed to receivers. They're playing the coverage scheme the most, that he smashes the most, like doubles his fantasy points up. It could be a Ridley day, but yes, I would go Addison over him. I'm going Detroit over KCD, Texas Hustler. Kirk or Mostert, half PPR. I'm going to go Mostert there, Colin Harris. Best defense today, the Cowboys, Derek Anderson. Ty Chandler, Khalil, Herbert, or Foreman. I would go Chandler there. I don't want anything to do with that Bears backfield with everybody down there. Kyler over Fields. Yep, that's where I'm going. Kyler over Fields. Joey, as much as your question's great, you've asked it like 5 times now. I hope this doesn't block you, because we've had timeout also block people. I don't want to block you, but 8 times of your questions is just getting annoying at this point. And I don't want it to keep popping up in the middle of rapid fire. Goff or Stroud. I'm going Stroud, but man, that's my quarterback 4 and quarterback 5. Ridley, B. Cooks, Sutton, choose 2. I'm going to go Ridley and Cooks, and I'm going to go Sutton and Ridley there. What to do with Achane? You play him. You absolutely play him. There's no doubt about it. Oh, Baldwin. Giuseppe's calling for CJ. So we're going to give CJ in a minute. We'll give him the burn. If he wants to take over the rest of the mailbag, he can. But I'm popping out at 10. Mattison or Achane? Definitely Achane. No doubt about that one. Herbert or Murray? I'm going to go Herbert over Murray. Amy, NFL girl. It looks like it is the time. So we will answer Amy, NFL girl. Gibbs, Monty, Dell, Collins, Barkley. Bench one. Okay. I'm benching Nico Collins out of these options. I don't love repeating the teammates of Gibbs and Monty or Dell and Collins, but I'd rather have the Detroit backs than the Houston receivers overlapping. Collins versus Barkley does get very close. If you wanted to just bench Barkley, I don't blame you at all. I kind of like Barkley today against Washington there as well. And Santana. Full PPR, pick 2. Jay Cook, Jay Myers, D-Hop, and Rice. I'm going to go D-Hop as my favorite, and I'm going to go James Cook as my next. Alrighty, we are up to 9:47, so we've made it through most of the mailbag at this point. CJ, an eventful morning. I gave the people the heads up that I gave you the blessing to take the morning off, and I kind of expected it to happen. So people knew not to expect you. Giuseppe's clearly excited to see you as well. You feeling okay? I know you crashed on a couch last night.
Yeah, I woke up. I set my alarm at 7:30. Woke up to my alarm being on silent, so that's always good. But
nice.
Yeah, the dog is just asleep in my lap now. Can't even see her.
Love it. Yeah. So I guess the wolf will be gone, but the dog will be there to help you out.
Me and Mr. Stat Boy want to hit the rest if you want. I can't even see.
Hell yeah. I love it. So I have it pulled up. It's 8. I just did 946 ban Santana. So Wolfpack, we'll keep it rolling. I mean, we hit over 100 people at one point today. So maybe we just need you off the show permanently at this point.
I agree with that.
See you later. Yeah, you can have your Sunday mornings back, and I'll just take over. But no, it was awesome. A lot of good comments, a lot of good super chats, great questions throughout. Very generous from everybody today, both in terms of likes, shares, retweets. This 8 to 10 a.m. is a game changer. I'm all about it from here on out. Whether or not it works in for the hangover schedule, we'll find out.
I think it's good for the people. They're not allowed to get away from their significant other from 11 o'clock until 8 o'clock.
Right,
at night.
Carries them away from 7 hours of commercial-free football plus that. Yeah, you can get your morning stuff done still. But Wolfpack, I got to bounce out here at 10 a.m. That's kind of my schedule from here on out is 8 to 10 a.m. CJ's going to pick up the rest. Typically, we probably will, and maybe we do tag team it. And you just kind of could come in for cleanup after 10 o'clock. But I know you don't have work on Sunday too, CJ. So I will figure it out. But they're great. Wolfpack, over 100 of you here. We've never reached that number without having a really big guest on here. I mean, we've had Scott Hansen and Schefter, so we've had some great guests that have helped us drive some great views. But this was really, really awesome to wake up and see that type of traction and that type of support. I can't say it enough, and so many super chats as well. On my way out, while CJ takes over for you guys, one last plea with 86 of you. That thumbs up button really does help us get out there, and so many new names here. So awesome to see. We really hope to see you come back here because as much as we like the new names, we love the people that come back week in and week out even better. So do consider subscribing.
I have a personal question. What's your Tony Pollard thoughts? Because I'm very, very close to benching him.
Yeah, so before I log out, I'll give my Tony Pollard thoughts. And the guy of the stream today, too, you know how somebody always becomes the stream guy, was Trey McBride. And I said I played Trey McBride over Tony Pollard, for example. I put Trey McBride over a lot of people today. I usually hate double tight end. This is a weird year where if you have six –
Would you go Puka over Pollard?
Over Trey McBride?
No, over Pollard.
Yes, absolutely, no doubt.
I'm not so I feel like this is one more week where I can deal with Pollard because he has the great matchup.
If as crazy as it comes down to, too, is if Donald's ruled out, like that kind of also opens up more of the garbage time blow-up stuff to maybe Pollard. He had a great matchup last week, and he had 5 freaking points. I'm out on Pollard. He's not Tony Pollard of last year. It's strictly a matchup play, so I don't view this any different than like if Najee Harris a couple years ago, where he's not good, but he's just getting a ton of volume. And some days he's like a low end RB1. Most days he's just not good. I could see like low end RB1. Maybe he gets 2 touchdowns, the most touchdowns allowed in the league. second most points backs. I get it. He should smash. You should play Pollard today, theoretically. I'm out. I'm minus 10 ECR. Again, in a week like this, though, there are asking about Ty Chandler or Pollard. Like, I would go Pollard over those guys, but Puka or Pollard, I'm going Puka. I'm done. I'm done with Pollard.
I feel like this is just because I have a very good team, so I demoted him to my flex, so he's already in timeout. I may give him one more week, and then I may also cut him after this my first round pick.
I mean, really, like if he doesn't do it against Carolina,
that's good enough where I can cut him and feel fine. But after this week, if he doesn't score, because I may throw him in a touchdown parlay again after he lost me like almost $1,000 last week.
You can keep doing it. You're an idiot. I would not subscribe. I don't stamp that. He should. He should have done it last week. He should have done it all year, and he's not. So that's my thoughts on Pollard. That's the wrap up.
CD Lamb, Dak, everyone was getting rushing touchdowns last week.
Yep, everyone but him. I saw a great meme of it where it's like Office Space where they're handing out the cake at the party, and they take the cake away from one guy. The guy ends up blowing up the place by the end of it. So I loved it. But alrighty, I'm gonna bow out. It looks like Camp CJ and the dog, and then Campanelli. They both have their pups with them today. Human pup and real pup.
Oh, you got rid of them. Cool.
Yeah. Wolf just
I hit the bow out before, but Wolfpack, best of luck in week 11. Thank you again for making this one of the best sit start shows we've ever had. Again, over 100 live with us at one point today, 90 throughout most of the show. This was amazing. You guys are awesome. It's because so many of you liked, subscribed, all that stuff really does help us. I know I say it so much, but it's awesome. So thank you again so much. On my way out, if you do like what you heard, please do consider something. I'm going to pump one last time, rotostreetjournal.com. All that trade stuff we did this week, trade deadline with fantasy playoff analysis, strength of schedule for everybody, best players to buy, check your players. Who do you have? I'm going to do one last pump for that because I thought that the writers did such a phenomenal job this week on all that stuff. So thank you again so much for being here, Wolfpack. You're in good hands with Campanelli and CJ the rest of the way. They'll wrap up the rest of the mailbag. But best of luck. I hope you get everything you need in week 11. And the Wolf and Fantasy Sheep guys, be the wolf. Later, pups.
All right. We got a – this is weird.
The viewership just dropped off by 20. That's fine, though.
Yeah, we got a super chat at 10:05 from Doug Fenton.
Let me grab that. 1 second. Let me see. You have it?
I can't
– Just click it and we'll go.
Okay.
All right. Full PPR needs 3 of these. So sit 1, Lamb. You can't sit Lamb. And then Smith, Puka, Kirk, Dell.
Ooh. I think we're gonna go. You can't sit Lamb. You start Lamb is a must start.
So sit 2 of these. Honestly, I'd sit Devonta here, and I would probably sit Puka.
Oh, see, I would go Devontae and Kirk.
Kirk's been so on fire. I can't bench Kirk.
I don't know. I don't trust Trevor Lawrence. That's my one issue there.
So the thing with Kirk though is that's the guy that Lawrence likes. Calvin Ridley's dead. Kirk's still around. So personally, I would sit Devonta and I would sit Puka, but Campanelli, on the other hand, would sit Kirk and Devonta. So you're benching Devonta either way.
Yes.
And then what time are we at?
We are at we left off at Ndidi at 9:47.
Show's killing it right now. This one?
That was NJ Dave. It's the question is Noah Brown or
Oh yeah, we had this girl. All right.
9:47. Sorry.
Right,
sorry.
So we got Dubs or Musgrave at the flex. Gotta go Dubs.
I think Dobbs is the way to go this week. I think it's gonna be an aerial assault in that game.
I know. Actually, we did love Jordan Love this week. He's been garbage in real life, but he's actually been decent fantasy wise because they go down 21.5, and then they just cook the second half.
Yeah, I don't see this being. I think the Chargers control the running game here, but Dobbs is going to see the bulk of this here.
Yeah, and Musgrave's been garbage also.
Exactly.
John Malioli. Start 2 of these: Singletary, Connor, Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton.
I'm going Singletary and Nico. Connor's just seeing volume right now. He wasn't really part of the pass game last week, but that could change at any moment. And then I don't know, that Vikings defense has been so stout over the last few weeks. I don't know if I can trust Cortland Sutton in that game.
Weirdly good defense, which like shouldn't be good because they have like no big names at all, but they're actually good.
It's astonishing.
That team's like a very weird team that's gonna like win one game, like they'll win wild card weekend.
It could happen.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Austin Davidson. Here's my dilemma this week. I have Herbert and Josh Allen in Superflex. Do I bench one for Goff? No, I would not.
0.5 per completion, 5 for a TD.
I would not. I know even Josh Allen was awful last week, but I would never bench him. And then Herbert's kind of his weapon situations also stinks, but like I mentally cannot do that.
So do we have a statistic where when an offensive coordinator is fired, what the quarterback performance is the next week?
Are you trying to do the when a head coach is fired and they win the next game?
Hey, look, it could happen. Okay, but I'm just thinking,
And Dorsey was not the problem there.
No. The only reason I would contemplate benching Allen is the Jets defense.
I could also see him running for a touchdown.
Yeah, but that's the thing. His feet. Goff, I think the Lions are going to pull right ahead, and they're just going to drain this clock. It's going to be a running fest for them.
Goff may get more completions, but I think Allen will score more points.
Yeah.
Derek Back, CJay, or Calvin Ridley. We've gotten to this point.
I don't know. Quentin Johnson. I have him on my team, and I'm benching him right now.
That dude stinks.
So I think I'm going Calvin here.
Yeah, I need to trust Calvin. I guess maybe one more week, although he doesn't deserve it at all. He's been garbage. But Quentin Johnson, he's in real life and everything else, he's not it for me.
Not this week, no.
He'll be getting 95% of the snaps, but it's not worth it. Amy NFL girl, Gibbs, Monty, Dell, Collins, Barkley.
I think we did this one, but I'm not double stacking Dell and
bench one of these.
Oh.
And pick 2.
I think there's 2 double stacks there. I like Tank Dell. I don't think you could sit Tank Dell, and I really think I like Monty on the revenge game narrative.
I almost think you can't bench one of the Lions running backs. This is.
I think I'm benching, and I'm a Giants fan. I'm benching Barkley here.
I may double stack the running backs. Last week they blew up. I don't see why they won't again. I feel like the rest of the season they're going to. But I also don't want to bench any Texans receivers. NFL girl, what's up with this roster?
Yeah,
it's a better question. You can't slide one into your running back spot. Why do you have Barkley? Why do you have Monty? Why do you have Gibbs? Why can't you start one of them?
I mean, honestly, if you haven't hit your trade deadline yet, it's worth potentially trying to move one of the Lions running backs and potentially one of the Texans wide receivers to try to upgrade a position of weakness.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if she does have a position of weakness. Judging by her, I don't know if she has any weaknesses at all.
We have a super chat from Wave Runner.
All right, hit that.
And it's at 10:12.
Should I start Kyler or Howell? I'm going Kyler. I'm a Kyler guy the rest of the year.
So
like a little petulant child running around like he usually does.
Yeah. I like Kyler. Wolf, if you weren't here earlier, Wave Runner, Wolf went over this. Kyler was a top 12 fringe QB1 last week with 0 touchdown passes. I like the matchup for Kyler. No Adoree Jackson for the Giants. Howell has been a top quarterback all year in fantasy. This is really one of those fringe plays. I don't think you can go wrong here, but I would rather take Kyler with the higher ceiling here because I think the Commanders are going to blow the Giants out of the water here.
Well, that means we'll step into our anytime touchdowns because I need something bad after last night.
I got
I did a late
destroyed on
night call
college.
about that didn't hit. Thanks, Missouri. But everything else, I had a great afternoon. Everything else didn't hit, so I do need a touchdown parlay. If anyone wants to drop their one touchdown player, is what I need. I need everyone drop one touchdown player. I'll take it.
Except Bijan.
My guy every single week.
Oh wait, he's on bye this week. Yes.
Yeah, he is, unfortunately. I'm going Pollard though. That's my Bijan.
Oh, geez.
Van Santana again. Full PPR. Pick two of these: James Cook, Myers, Hop, and Rice. Pick two of these.
Full PPR. I think. Who are the Titans playing this week?
I think I'm gonna go the first two.
That's what I was leaning. Cook Myers for me.
Will Levis may have been a Fugazi. We don't know. And then Rashee Rice. I'm not going that right now.
Yeah.
And
we did this one, so Dobbs was our call.
And then John Melioli, a lot of Italians in this chat. Start two of these, half PPR, Singletary, James Conner, Nico Collins. We just had this too.
We did this one too.
Oh,
and this was Singletary Collins for me.
Wait, hold on. This is where we're at. Giuseppe, Gino, or Russ?
We answered this on the super. Wolf answered this on the super chat.
Hey, great TV right now. Tony J, Josh Allen to Jets, same how. This is just like repeated by someone else.
So
and then Taysom Hill replacement for Andrews.
Again, as CJ said, we'd go Josh Allen here. I think Taysom Hill is a good replacement for Mark Andrews. If you can slide Andrews into your IR spot, that would be great. But another person to look out for would be Freiermuth.
Would you go Isaiah Likely over both of them?
Okay, so here's my logic, and Wolf kind of went over this. Every time Likely
he's not a big Likely fan though.
He's not. I like him. I just don't think this is the offensive coordinator for tight ends that the Ravens are using.
He cooked tight ends at Georgia. That's what weirds me out too.
Exactly, but he's been peppering like the wide receivers now. I mean, if Likely's available, go grab him. I think
maybe stash him for a week, see if he cooks next week.
Yeah,
if he doesn't.
And then if you can cut him, you cut him.
I'd rather Taysom over him though.
Yeah.
And then I'm personally I can't bench Josh Allen. That's just me. It's one bad game. He'll still put up garbage stats. That's what he'll put up points somehow.
And they're in Buffalo this week, so
even if they lose, he'll still run it in touchdown. That's what he does. Especially if Fournette's not playing him. One Master full PPR. I need to pick two of these running backs: Jones, Williams, Connor. Aaron Jones, I'm not a fan this year.
I think I'm going Javonte Williams and James Conner here. Aaron Jones, we've seen, but of course, this is the narrative of you bench Aaron Jones and he's the one who's getting 25 touches, goes off for 130 and 2 TDs.
He hasn't gone off yet this year.
I know, but I'm saying that's the narrative that usually happens. But I like Javonte and Conner.
Yeah, I'm with Javonte and Conner. Javonte is picking it up right now. He's an RB1. Locked in. And the D is Musgrave worth a start this week? I mean, if you're super desperate, I guess, but I'm not flying out there to.
I'm not rushing to start him. Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, if there are other tight ends on the waiver wire, I would not. But if it's a deep league and you need Musgrave, I guess. Sean Webster, Connor, or Singletary?
I'm going Singletary.
Isn't it wild that you need to have a piece of the Texans offense?
If you had asked me that in the preseason or week 1 through 4, I would have laughed in your face. But
I could have been a super CJ Stroud homer, and I wasn't all because I wasn't.
Well,
as an Ohio State guy, I was not a huge CJ Stroud fan.
Exactly.
But I wish
you were pretty quiet.
I wish I was just to say I was there because no one would have remembered if I wasn't. But I should have just went out there and just said, "Oh, I love CJ Stroud. I love everything the Texans are going to do."
Exactly.
But with CJ Stroud, as I said a few weeks ago, he's an NFL quarterback. He's not a college football quarterback. So there's different. You need to be like rah tough guy if you're a college football guy. NFL, you don't. You just drop back and throw the ball.
Exactly.
And that's what he did at Ohio State too. Carson, Collins, Rice, or Puka?
This is a Collins or Puka for me.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm going Collins with Noah Brown out.
I was going to say Collins.
Yeah,
especially with Noah Brown out, because you're looking at Dell, Collins, Schultz,
Bob Trees,
Bobby Trees.
No, I'm going Collins there. Sean Williams, Addison, or Thielen. One Viking to a former Viking.
This one hurts to say. I think I'm going to go Thielen here, and here's the logic behind this one, Sean. It's going to be a lot of garbage throws. So depending on a PPR format and what have you, if you are in a PPR, the Denver defense has just been really good. But Addison is the wide receiver 1, just like Thielen. But Thielen is the entire Panthers offense.
Cam Bryce Young complete multiple passes.
Yeah.
I will say Thielen lost me a lot of money on Thursday night when he couldn't get over 50 yards. He had 48, I believe.
Oh.
Another disgusting performance. Eric Richardson, Dobbs, or Fields? I'm going Fields. It's a comeback. It's a comeback day. I know it's a tough matchup, but I'm feeling Fields the rest of the season.
I like Fields here.
We're together in that. Ahmed, Henry, Ford, Ty Chandler. Start one of these.
Start one.
Henry's cooked. Honestly, I'm not a Henry guy. He's cooked, I think.
I'm starting Jerome Ford here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Ty Chandler is, unless you have Mattison as your backup, because
Ty Chandler has Mike Boone vibes right now. Room.
Yeah, that's the 820 game. So unless like Mattison, because Mattison is cleared, and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I'm not high on Derrick Henry anymore.
Well, I mean, if you said Hunter Henry, that'd also be not good. No, I'm going forward here as well. I think Derrick Henry may be washed, but listen. CRU Skater, Nick, both Holy Cross and Lafayette are 4-1 in the conference and co-champs, so because of the Hadad, blah, blah, blah.
This is something you missed. He was talking about because they announced that they were like the conference champs.
Something that he would say, and they got smashed in the title game. So they're going to talk about that. And D. Musgrave again.
We've asked this like 4 times.
We hate Musgrave. Enough. No more Musgrave questions. Unless you're super, super desperate, Musgrave stinks.
And we have 2 super chats, one from Wave Runner and one from Phil Ciortino.
All right, we're going to go Wave Runner. Kyler or Howell?
I think we did that one. There's one at the bottom at 1022.
PPR, Thielen, Rice, Herbert, or Royce Freeman?
Oh, boy.
I'm going Thielen in there. I would say Herbert, but we don't know what the split's going to be with Foreman. And then the rest.
So I guess this is a pick 1 wide receiver, pick 1 running back.
I don't know. No, I think it's just maybe a flex.
Or a flex. So if this is a pick a receiver, pick a running back, I'm going Thielen and Royce Freeman, and I'm only going Royce Freeman because I don't know what's going on in Chicago in that backfield. Is Foreman the lead back? Is Herbert getting the roll back?
Also, though, LA, it's garbage too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like Freeman has a
yeah.
I'm going Thielen or Herbert.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, Freeman would probably get you.
Herbert was very, very good before he got injured.
And he could be a nice change of pace with Foreman. That could be a nice 60-40, 50-50 split back there. All right, CJ convinced me. Herbert.
All right, Thielen, Herbert. And then Phil, Mattison, or Chandler, who will lead the touches? I mean, Madison's going to get the gross touches. We all know that. It's going to be like 15 carries for 55 yards.
O'Connell has been so dedicated to Mattison that it's kind of scary when Akers was looking really good back there until his injury. Chandler looked good coming in for Mattison.
Ty Chandler is a sneaky, like, very, very good athlete. He ran like a 4.4 in the combine, and the speed score is high. Everything's good with him. But I don't know. Though.
I'm leaning.
Love Mattison. If you're just asking the question, who will lead touches, Mattison will lead touches.
It'll be Mattison. Mattison will see more snaps.
Who will be more efficient and better? Probably Chandler. But he also didn't do shit last week either. So maybe their running situation just stinks. No more mustier questions. Fenton need 2 receivers alongside Lamb and Smith. We go Puka, Kirk, or Dell. Oh wait, need to decide 2 receivers
alongside Lamb.
I would if you're starting. Oh no, need 2 receivers alongside Lamb. Period. Okay, so he needs 2 between Smith, Puka, Kirk, and Dell. I'd go probably the last 2 right now.
Kirk and Dell.
Yeah, me too. Mr. Maioli, Singletary, James Conner.
We answered this one.
We did that already. Rico, Jameson Williams, or Ty Chandler. I gotta go Ty Chandler. What has Jameson Williams ever done?
Exactly.
Guy hasn't caught a pass since he was in Alabama. NJ Dave, Mario Herbert. I'm torn. I don't know what to do.
You can't bench Herbert. Herbert's a top.
He figures it out too.
Yeah. I mean, is Herbert going to get you an interception? Probably, but I trust Herbert a little bit more right now.
Yeah, me too.
Now, if Kyler goes off this week,
are we going to bet Donald Parham 2 touchdowns today?
No, I would give Parham 1 touchdown.
I think he's 2 touchdowns around like plus 2,500, and I think I would do that. I'm definitely throwing him in a touchdown parlay. Matt B, I might be overthinking, but I need 2 or 3 of these. Hall, I would never bet Hall. You got to go Hall Dell.
Yeah, I like that.
Could be going Singletary there. Brendan Sherlaw, Dak, or Allen. A lot of people are off Josh Allen off 1 bad game. Sheesh.
I hate saying this. Dak's been awesome. Dak's been cooking, and it's Carolina. But here Allen will play all 4 quarters unless something terrible happens.
They're not going to bench Dak. We're not in like fairy.
Well, they did it last week against the Giants.
Yeah, they were up 49-7.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Is like
I don't know if they're going to be up that much
against Carolina, and then they take them out in the 4th quarter, and Cooper Rush shows up.
The better question is. Well, I think I'm going to go Dak there.
You're starting Dak?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. I talked myself into Dak.
I love Josh Allen, but also trade one of these. If your trade deadline was actually yesterday.
If you have today or another week for the trade deadline, I would definitely try to move one of these 2.
Yeah, you can't. That's just like a shitty position to be in where you have to pick like one or the other the entire year.
Exactly.
I just try with fantasy. I try to make myself happy and just like my bench kind of stinks. My starters are good, and I have no like sit start questions any week. That's
I read something. I was reading an article, not on Roto Street, on another site, that basically said you're not trying to put out like pick the best players from your group. You're trying to pick the least shitty players. Basically,
I like that.
So
maybe I'll write an article that says that. Then I'll read it. Brian Talansky, Superflex Full PPR, Zach Wilson, or Jerome Ford.
Give me Jerome Ford.
Zach Wilson sticks.
I'm from the New Jersey area. Just Zach Wilson.
Andy Musgrave sucks. Stop asking those questions, please. Doug Fenton need to decide 2. I can't wait until he scores 2 touchdowns. By the way,
we answered this one.
Need to decide. Yeah, we already got that. A lot of double questions today. NMB Deontay Johnson or Cook.
Ooh, see, I was in a predicament like this.
Is Fournette starting today? Is he going to play today?
We have no info on Lenny yet.
He's been. I don't think no one's talked besides him. He just like has random tweets, but like
apparently, if you read some of the stuff, McDermott said the call-up's coming in the next couple weeks, but he wouldn't.
What are they waiting for?
I don't know. I'm reluctantly in this position, NMB, and I am reluctantly starting James Cook only because I do not trust Kenny Pickett to feed Deontay.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Akash, have Nico Collins and Tank Dell on my bench. Ayuk is my receiver one. Monty in the flex. Do they replace anyone? No. I'd stay with Ayuk and Monty. You can't.
I like Monty and Ayuk.
Put Monty into your running back spot. He deserves more than a flex. Oh, the NFL girl again. Sorry, did I repeat? I did not know how it works here.
It's all good.
It's all right, NFL girl. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Chris Parker, Puka, or Addison. Happy to be. I'm low-key kind of off Puka. I disagree with Wolf with the Puka over Pollard. I don't know if I like that.
I guess I'm thinking matchup, but Dobbs has been really good.
Addison as long as Jefferson's out, I'm going Addison.
Jefferson's out. They didn't activate him.
I said as long as Jefferson's out, I'm going Addison.
Yeah, so I'd go Addison here.
Okay. Hassan Moose, full PPR.
Laporta.
I fucking hate double tights.
I know, but I don't trust Levis. I don't trust Mayo in my coffee.
No, I agree with that.
We have a super chat from Phil Ciortino.
1 second.
Would you just start Mattison over the Vikings RBs? This becomes a volume question.
I may go Herbert.
This becomes like a volume question. Like Mattison will get the volume. So if you're banking on volume and maybe Mattison falling into the end zone, then that's why I would go with Mattison. I think Khalil Herbert has the better efficiency because the Bears will go Foreman Herbert. So it just depends on how you feel more confident. I'd lean Herbert here.
Yeah, I'm with you there. The Vikings running backs haven't been good. Mattison still hasn't scored yet. Will Ty Chandler run one in? Maybe. Yeah. I'd probably go Herbert myself. 1 second. No, where you got that one? That one. We're on B-Rob or Ken Walker. B-Rob is. I have 2 touchdowns. This
is Robinson. This is the Giants defense. I will say this: the Giants are pathetic. You're going Robinson. That's it. Don't think about this.
I'm telling Dracov, maybe me and Campanelli are the new show. Reed Caboose. Good day, mate. Good day, mate. Reed Caboose again. Do we position away from Lockett today? He's there from England. Do we position away from Lockett today? Risky news. I love this guy.
This is an interesting one. I've been a little off Lockett this year, just with that offense.
Because I started to do something 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I liked JSN in college, and I liked him with the Seahawks. I don't feel like they've utilized him properly, and
no, they act like he's like a special guy. They just they throw some screens. And that's it.
So, unless you have
it depends who you have, but I feel okay about Lockett today.
Yeah, I mean, if you can wait it out, because the Seahawks have a 4:20 or a 4 o'clock start today.
I would go Lockett. I just don't know what else you have on your team. So so it is what it is. Derek Anderson, Browns legend. What are you? What
best defense today?
That's a tough question, but I would probably.
I think it depends on who's available. But if you look at the Roto Street rankings, the best defense today would
if the Vikings are still available, of course.
Dallas would be the number one, and the 49ers would be number two.
Well, obviously, hold on. Obviously, the Cowboys and the 49ers are not available. I think he's like trying to stream something. With that, I'd probably go Chargers. You can go Texans, Jets. I don't know. Dolphins were available for me.
I mean, I've been streaming the Raiders for the last several weeks, and it's paid off.
I love the Raiders the last few weeks.
I know they play the Dolphins this week, but
this week I would not.
I'm just saying, don't undersell the Raiders.
They could get smashed today.
True.
The Raiders have been good, but no, I would probably go if the Vikings are available, if the Dolphins are available, if the Seahawks, Chargers, I guess that's about it. Wolf has the Giants at 17. I mean,
I don't trust that.
What are we doing? The Commanders might put up 60 this week.
We have a super chat
NJ
from Boss
Herbert
B.
again. We have Mario Herbert again. We're on Herbert.
Yep. And we have a super chat from And after this one, I have to jump off.
Mr. Boss, we're gonna go. What?
I need to pick 3.
You're leaving me?
I have to. We have a birthday
Let's
party.
do a quick rapid fire. We'll stop talking.
Okay. I need to pick 3. Gibbs, Barkley, Robinson.
Need to pick 3 running backs. Gibbs, Barkley, B-Rob. I'd pick the first 3. Oh,
give me Gibbs, Robinson, Javonte.
Yeah, I feel you there.
And we have another super chat from Craig Sarno.
Want to clear it?
Yeah, I said Gibbs, Robinson, Javonte.
Sarno, half PPR, 2 running backs and a flex. Hubbard, Chandler, Mattison. A lot of people have the Chandler-Mattison combo, which is gross. And then Pickens, Sutton. I would probably go pick 3 of these.
2 RBs. I'm going to go Hubbard and Mattison, and then I'm going to flex Sutton.
Yeah, I like that. Nate, I like this. You guys talk too much. I agree with that. We do talk too much.
Yeah.
Let's just, can we do a quick rip and then we'll log off. We'll finish this in 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Romeo
again. No Brown, Romeo Dubs. Romeo because no Brown's out. Gabriel, pick 1 running back and a flex. Singletary, Warren, Monty, Collins, blah, blah, blah. I would go Monty, and I would go
Monty Collins or Monty Singletary.
I was gonna say Monty Collins. Susan Bader, full PPR. Tua Stroud Murray. I go Tua in this case.
I like Tua. We have a super chat from Craig Sarno.
We'll grab it in a second. NJ Dave, what the fuck? I agree. Kenneth Andrews, Waddle, Hollywood, DJ Moore, half PPR.
I like Waddle here.
Right now, I'd go Waddle. I'd probably rank it in that way that you put it. EA, thanks, bro. Thank you. Amy, thank you also. Oh, you're so cute. Yeah, you're so cute too. Jonathan Reardon. We're gonna go Ford, Pickens, Ridley for the flex. I'm going Ford.
I like Jerome Ford.
Me too. Omar, see a Wolf. Yep, he's too lazy. I got off way too early. It's fine though. Jonathan Reardon, hearted not liked. Is that good? Yes, hearts means love. Of course, love is better than liking. EA, half PPR, trade Mike Evans. Oh, I can't do all this trade stuff. That hurts my brain. Looking for playoff strength at running back. We do have if you go to roastjournal.com, we do have the best trade possibilities at running back. So
yep.
I think Connor also has very, very good. Mixon maybe in trouble with that bum at quarterback. Eric Richardson, thank you for your help. Thank you as well. Amy, again, would you drop Higgins for Deontay Johnson? You said from the best roster ever to how is your league so dead that Deontay Johnson's available? No, I would not, though. Joe Def, would you go McBride over Hollywood? I would.
I like
I'd go
McBride.
McBride over Hollywood. Jose Perez, Henry or Mostert? I'm with Mostert. Almiras Islam, Brown or Christian Kirk? I'd go Christian Kirk.
I like Christian Kirk.
Most channels skip people. First time I ever got an answer. We love you, Joey Spicirano. My Sopranos boy. We post it somewhere. We do post it. We post it every single week. We're here every single Sunday at 8 o'clock. Maybe not me.
I go Mostert.
Worse, me being hungover, crying on the show. Who knows? Mostert. Spatoria again. Should I trade Ken Walker, Nico Collins, or Josh Jacobs? No, they're gonna feed Josh Jacobs. Yes, I would. I would do that. Considering your lineup, yes. Like Duke, Parham or Mayer. I think Parham's good for a touch. I'm throwing him into my touchdown.
No Gerald Everett, so I'm going Parham.
And no, like any receiver, all the receivers are up.
Yeah, basically.
Happy Bear needs 3 of these. DJ Moore, he's in. Warren's in. Lockett, Ridley, Hunt, Kincaid. I'd probably go DJ Moore, Kincaid, and Lockett.
Am I nuts to say Warren, Lockett, Kincaid?
No, that's my 4th was going to be. If you want to do that.
I mean, the only issue with Warren is the Browns.
JNF. Yeah, that's true. JNF, Small, Chili. Start one of these. Cooper and Monty. Monty is a start. I can't. Well,
I think it's Monty. It's Monty, and if you're questioning Monty, you go with Robinson.
You have to start David Montgomery. But it's only start one, so I'd probably go Monty over Robinson. Hassan Moose. Oh my God. At least my child doesn't talk during the stream. Jeez. Hassan Moose.
I'm so sorry. We've been up since
D Hopper Laporta for the flex. You got to go Laporta.
I like Laporta.
I was probably just going to bed then. Laporta I would. And did he enough with the Musgrave? And but Dottle may be out, so I'd probably go Musgrave there, honestly. Although he stinks. Wave runner Herbert or Royce Freeman. I'm going Herbert. Aiden Dalmanian, 101 Dalmanians. Ford or Rice. I'm going Ford. Gotta go Ford here. Got here late, guys. Great show. 18 PPR, 6 point for the flex. Cook, Collins, Kincaid. I'd go Collins there. Especially Noah Brown out.
Cook, Collins, Kincaid. Collins. Go Collins.
Collins, Kincaid. Yeah, I'm with you. And Matthew, Pacheco or Warren. I'm going Pacheco until he stops scoring touchdowns. Matt Felton, start 2 of these. Josh Jacobs, I would go Josh Jacobs, Javonte's going to Cook. Jonathan
I got to run CJ. This one's going nuts over here.
Hey, it happens.
I'll talk to you, okay?
Sounds good. I'll see you later. Matt Felton, start 2 of these. Ayuk, Evans, Garrett Wilson. I would go the first 2. Nate Zapata, what's up, boys? You re-sign Rasheed Rice or Ridley's a good choice. Yes, we can't trust Ridley right now. We just can't do it. Andy D, thank you. Thank you too. Charlie Hill, Lions defense or Kansas City. Kansas City's been really good, but they also face the Eagles, so I go Lions. El Pablo, 2 of 3. Deontay Moore, Addison, thanks. Johnson Moore for me. Wave runner, thanks, guys. Johnson, who should I flex? Addison, Metcalf, Singletary, McBride. It's tough. I don't like going double tight ends. I'd probably go DK, Singletary, Addison, McBride. Although I love McBride. Christianova, Goff, or Fields. I'm going Fields today. Fields, I am not Ohio State homer, but it's fine. Jim Coop in a PPR. I need one of these running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. So you need 3, 4 of these. He's sitting 1. In this group, I would probably say Godwin. Tony J. Jacoby or Noah Brown. Noah Brown's out, so I go Jacoby. Drugs are bad. They are bad. Do I start James Conner or Laporta in the flex? I go with a running back that has volume. I do like Laporta better, honestly. But if you're getting that many touches, I go with the running back. Boss B, Saquon or Javonte. I'm going Javonte. Obenia, would you start half PPR? Donta Foreman or Cole Kmet? Gotta go 4. That's tough. I'd probably go Kmet, although I hate the double finance. Ryra Buechler, Ford or Connor? I like Connor as a talent more, but I'd probably go Ford this week. Rick Knuth, start 2, Barkley, Montgomery, Javonte. Go Montgomery. Peter Santiago, Fields or Dobbs. We're going Fields. Oh, and a flex. We're going Fields, DJ Moore, stack. Is he going to hit his boy? I think so. I'd go Fields, DJ Moore. Charlie Hill, Lions or KC. We answered Lions already. Michael Simmons, full PBR. Rice, Hollywood, Walker. I'd probably go Hollywood. One more second. Where are we? 1 second. Jonathan Reardon, Ridley or Ford for the flex. I'm going Ford. You gotta go Ford there. Sachin, pick 2 of these. Warren Cooper, Reed Jason. First 2 for me. Michael Simmons, Ford for sure. I agree. Thank you, Michael Simmons. You guys talk too much. We may. Ghostman Ron, Flex 1, Godwin, Connor, Singletary. I am going Connor, Singletary, Godwin. But if you pick Singletary over Connor, I wouldn't be mad at you. Zapata, sorry, bro. I just want my question answered. We'll get there eventually. It's a big line. It's a mix of YouTube and Facebook, so it's more than what you think it is on whatever platform you're at. Rasheed Rice, Ridley, or is Rasheed Rice or Ridley smart? Yeah. I mean, what are we going to do with Ridley? Are we just going to start him every week and give us nothing? I guess so. Rivers, do I start B-Rob or Swift? I'm going to B-Rob. Fenton, awesome. Thank you for the advice. Thank you for joining as well. John Malioli, start 2 of these. We already did this. I'm going Nico and Connor, but Singletary is close there. You don't know? We're going Herbert. Just go Herbert. Relax, bro. Although NJ Dave says he's in a dome. That's also true. Benyana. Kincaid is my starter. I was leaning towards 2 tight ends. I'm not sure on Foreman's usage. Yes. 2 tight ends are tough. I would probably go double tights with you. I don't love it, but it is what it is. Those are 2 studs. Grind don't stop. Should I trade Kenneth Walker for Montgomery? Of course you should. What are you, crazy? Montgomery's a workhorse as long as he's active. See you guys. It was an awesome time. Sorry for coming in late. Love you.